everyone, and welcome to Babies with Knives. We are going to be playing a game that's a little bit off. I'm going to be experimenting today. I'll be your GM, Alice Peng, aka Lala Twiddle. And with me today is going to be Brandon Powers, my ever-present co-host, over to my right.
Howdy, howdy.
Below him is our friend Aldo Regalado.
Hello.
And Hulk over there is our friend Aid Smith. Hey, Aid.
Hello.
So today we're going to be playing a FengShen game, which if you have any familiarity with Asian games, more people will have familiarity with Wuxia than FengShen. FengShen is high fantasy where it is the genre is inspired in itself by the Investiture of the Gods novel, which chronicles lore and mythology written into a novel as far back as the 2nd century and further before that. So it's got a lot of elements that aren't usually seen in Wuxia. And if we translate it to American lore, I would say that it has more in common with Xena, Xena and Hercules TV shows, where there is that meddling of the gods. There is a lot of demons. In this case, Asians, there's daemons. There's good and there's bad spirits. They're daemons, not demons. And there's a lot of trickery and laws and rules to go by, except with the Asian mentality. And martial arts are still a big part, but it's big on magic and supernatural stuff. So why don't I give you guys a moment to introduce the characters you've chosen on the pre-gens?
Are we going to be corrected on pronunciation?
Nope. Just I would recommend. I can if you guys would like.
Yes.
Sure. I'll how about this? I'll do the names for you guys, and then you guys can introduce yourselves on what you're playing. So for Brandon, he is going to be playing the entertainer archetype, and the character's name is Feng Mian. And Brandon, go for it.
Feng Mian, which is translates to Wind's Dreamer. Are we currently traveling, or are we currently in a stationary place?
Basically? You guys would be traveling currently as we open the scene.
Okay, so a very attractive woman, wearing fairly simple traveler's robes, but they are obviously have been dyed into other colors to attract some more attention and such. She's a pretty woman with a fan that is always by her, sheltering under an umbrella. She moves around while traveling and talks with different people. I don't know if we're in a caravan or something, or just the three of us. And generally just makes people feel good. During downtime and such, she plays a stringed instrument that she carries with her.
And she plays a liu qing, in case anyone does know what that is. For Aldo, he will be playing Xiaogui, our shapeshifter.
Xiaogui is a young man. He's a young man who was basically disowned by his family, labeled as having a curse, and he grew up basically a street urchin, a pickpocket, working for kind of a low-level crime boss. As he got older, the crime boss had him do more and more unsavory jobs, and to the point where he decided that he could no longer follow through. Probably was asked to kill somebody or attack somebody, and it was it was at that moment the first time that he transformed into an eagle, a giant eagle, and defended his master's target against his master's men. And the person that he defended then was very grateful and sent him to be basically raised and trained in a monastery, where he learned monkey-style martial arts and sword, both hand-to-hand and sword form, and also learned how to harness the power and the strength of the great eagle. And now he's out in the world. He's somewhat, and you might want to help me with this, Alice, in terms of how he would probably dress. I'm imagining that he dresses pretty plainly. He's not somebody who comes, aside from his training at the monastery, he doesn't come from any measure of affluence or anything. Quite the opposite. He's not refined beyond whatever tutelage he got at the monastery. So in terms of etiquette and manners and knowledge, deep knowledge or nuanced knowledge about the world, he's not very good, right? And so I would imagine that he would have a very, very plain traveling clothes, probably has a sword that was given to him by his master, and he is probably in whatever group that we're traveling, he's maybe made a few faux pas, not knowing the finer points of etiquette and whatnot. But correct me if any of those assumptions are wrong in your mind.
Your basic etiquette would be pretty good. But if you make faux pas, that's not a big deal. You can say that you're just not accustomed to the particular location. As for your dress, yes, you would be pretty simple, and you would wear common peasant clothing, whereas our entertainer does not wear a hat. Peasants wear cone hats, which there's another name for it, which is jingasa, that some people would be more familiar with in American pop culture. But you would be wearing a cone hat made of bamboo. You would have you ever watched any Studio Ghibli films, specifically Spirited Away? Okay. Because your clothes
Actually, I did see Spirited Away, but I don't remember.
Your clothes would be a lot like the clothes she wears when she's working in the bathhouse. And you would have those, the extra bands of cloth that you would tie your clothes around as you need to, the way she did. And so often you'll have them tied around your ankles to keep stuff from coming in on the road and such. You'll have them tied around your ankles, but you can also then pull your legs up, pull your pants up, and then tie them up and stuff like that. So your clothes would be a lot like that on your traveling clothes. And so for our last character, Aid is going to be playing Tu Jing. He is going to be our soldier archetype.
That's correct, yeah. He is a soldier who was conscripted to the army when he was 14, I believe, and battled against a warlord, or I'm not going to pronounce because that would be bad. And basically, he's the warlords that moved through settlements and basically destroyed lots of things. He saw many casualties and losses in during the course of the war, and effectively finished off his commission in the military, and now searches a way to appease his ancestors by wandering the land.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Cool.
There's much more detail than that Alice put in originally, but I'm just...
I did want to mention real quick that Fengmian, that translates to Wind's Dreamer. The Xiaogui translates to Little Ghost, and Tu Jing translates to Earthly Gold. So if our if our players decide to reference their character names using those names, that's fine too. If the names become uncomfortable. So we will be playing it under supers, where, like I said, this is going to be kind of an experiment for us. So let's get started. To set the scene, you guys are on the road. It's just the three of you. You probably came across each other in a nearby town. You guys were going the same way, and at the meal house, you guys decided, well, we're all going the same way, so let's continue together, because it's safer on the road as a team than it is alone. You guys have been traveling for several days. The weather has been fantastic. It's been sunny. It's been bright. You're in midsummer, so days are pretty long, and it gets pretty hot in the day. But on the fourth day of the travel, you guys, around midday, the sky becomes very overcast and the wind picks up. The entire area gets much darker than it should be during a summer day. In fact, it feels even dark for a winter day. And so you find yourselves in need of shelter. And lo and behold, off in the distance, you guys see the lights of a compound on. Just down the road. It looks to be a roadhouse, a way station.
Okay.
trying to figure out my character's accent before, my speech pattern before I talk.
No problem.
Well, it seems that we are fortunate. We found a place to rest before the storm hit. He smiles.
Okay, so yeah, head down. I'm just going to basically stumble forward, and it's about time.
So, approaching this compound, it basically is very similar to a lot of the dynastic ones you would see. It's got a narrow line of building in front, and then it's basically four walls. It looks like there's a courtyard in the middle. And in the center front of it is a shrine, a Taoist shrine. It's a temple, which is common in many of the way stations that you would find, is that there's some sort of shrine or temple, either to ancestors or to a religion. And so it's somewhere that people can find sanctuary and pray, and as well as rest. Usually, though, you do have someone in that room ready to greet you. In this case, you don't find anyone. The incense are lit, the lanterns are lit, but there's no one in sight. There's even a fire in the center hearth that's keeping the area warm.
Alice, do I know any basically ritual that we would perform at the shrine, or that I would perform, come in?
Absolutely. You would first make sure everyone takes off their shoes. And second of all, you would kowtow to the shrine. And yes, there are a few little things that you can certainly do. It would take, 3 minutes. If you want to do something elaborate, you could do something that would take about 10 minutes. But to pay basic respects, about 3 minutes.
Yeah. Yes, I will, start to, take off, like you say, my shoes and such, and I will then, pay my respects at the shrine.
Okay. This way station, this is not true for every way station, but for some way stations you'll find that if by the road, they will even put out a bucket of water and a dish basically for you to wash up your hands and feet and face and such. This one does have a bucket of clean water.
Definitely use that as well before. But yeah, just basically, and does the shrine here, does this seem normal for is there anything unusual about it in comparison to what you might find at other way stations?
Why don't you roll me Academia?
Sure. I have 14 on 3 dice.
Nice. In general, it looks pretty true. This shrine seems to basically be focused around agriculture. You guys are going through an area where it is primarily farmlands, and so it is basically, there's a lot of food and such to spirits that are trying to garner the favor to keep agriculture strong in the area. You do notice one thing that seems a bit strange. There is a small tooth, you would think, maybe a tusk, which is very unusual here. It seems to have been left in the token dish as payment.
Okay, like an offering?
Like an offering, yes. But this isn't the offering to the shrine. This is an offering to the roadhouse. This is where people would tip the roadhouse.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like an ivory tooth. And that would be what you find that's strange here.
I don't know what my companions are doing while I take time with that.
Well,
yeah.
Seeing her pay respects, he'll kind of be like, remember his master telling him that, his mentor telling him that you should be respectful in this way. And he kind of follows suit after her, embarrassed a little bit with himself that he had forgotten to do that immediately. Mm-hmm. And he will follow suit.
Okay.
Probably not as kind of gracefully as she does, but nevertheless, he will do it.
Okay, cool. And yeah, you certainly can do that. Um, and what about you, Aid?
So picking up the tooth, does it look like it's been snapped off of something, or is it just completely removed from something's mouth? Or
Why don't you roll me? Why don't you roll me an academia, which I guess for you is just one die.
so yes, yeah. Why don't you? If you've
Well,
got a military,
he might know it
that's
from
not
like military, or I don't know if he's got survival.
No, he doesn't have survival, but I'll let you actually roll military. I'll let you roll military for that.
that will help a lot. 11.
11. This looks like a tooth that someone would have shed. This looks like the root, when the tooth fairy would come, the tooth falls out, that kind of thing. It doesn't look like it's been snapped off.
And it doesn't strike me as being something like a boar's tooth or something similar or whatever.
Actually, looking at it, it does look a bit like a boar's tooth. Yes.
Okay.
Also, you grew up on in farmland. So why don't you give me a 2-die roll for that? Because I don't think we gave you any skill for that in the end. But I'll give you a 2-die roll for that. Aid?
Okay. Yep. Okay. I got an 8.
You got an 8. Okay. Looking at what the focus of the shrine is, you think back to the last 2 hours on the road, and the plant life outside seems to have taken a turn. Like it doesn't look as healthy as you would expect it to be at this time of year.
Okay.
So
I'll actually take a step outside the shrine again and kind of double check it to see if my fears are confirmed. It's like, well, yeah, this is brown. This is weirder. This is not as succulent as it should be, or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, it does. It looks like there's a sickness to the plants.
Okay, and I will immediately tell everybody this does not feel right.
Tujing, what is it that you feel?
Okay, there seems to be a sickness emanating from the shrine.
No,
at least around the around the shrine.
Yeah, around the shrine, yeah.
Yeah. Whether or not it's centered there or it's just encroaching upon it, I couldn't tell. But there is definitely something unusual occurring.
Alice, am I able to notice anything similar to that?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me academia.
7.
7. You don't have the background, and so, looking at it with what he said, yeah, the plants look a little off. Like, that tree there, it should be flourishing more outside. In the courtyard, then you guys look, the door to the courtyard. You see inside the courtyard, the plants are definitely more vivacious than it is outside. So there's definitely a contrast. It's not super dead, but, those that are half bloom, but those are full bloom.
Gotcha. Can you describe where, like, this complex and where we are in it, then?
Oh, I apologize.
I think I have a slightly different impression.
So, this compound is a square. The square is formed by long houses, long buildings that form the outer square. It doesn't have an outer fence around that, an outer wall, because it's not a rich compound, but it is a compound roadhouse. So you've got and in the center of the front where you enter, that first room in the center is the shrine or temple. And then going off of that would be additional rooms. To the side back, the doors are open into the courtyard.
Okay, so it's kind of like we're in a very small foyer area, where the shrine is, and it's very much like Light the Red Lantern, I believe was what the movie was called.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a very standard build mechanic for this type of So you've got the enclosed courtyard in the middle.
Yeah.
So with the absence of somebody to greet us, what would be customary after paying your respects? Where would it be proper to go next?
Well, you probably, without someone to greet you, you kind of just can go about what you would normally need to do at a roadhouse. Go get some food, go rest, and be expected to leave a token or tips, basically in the box tip jar. But it is definitely unusual for for a compound this size to not have a greeter. You know, if it was
Okay.
like
Let
a
alone,
shack,
I mean, after we've been here for a few minutes and
right?
such.
If it's a shack, that's different.
Hmm.
There are roadhouse shacks, but those shacks, you know, they're just people come and go and leave, and it's kind of like geocaching, but for people.
So if we were to get food, where do we think that would be? Because
It would
you just mentioned
probably
that
be
too.
on the far side wall. The residences would probably be to the sides of where you guys are.
Okay.
So kitchen and dining hall would probably be against the far. Would be in the far building. So
And do we hear sounds of activity or anything?
you hear sounds of wildlife. You know, birds chirping, crickets and such. Beyond that, you're not hearing people or clattering of pans and pots and such like that. No.
Okay.
Okay, well, I don't want to annoy anything in here that's maybe keeping the place safe, so I will do the ritual as normal and drop a coin or something into the actual pot to
Okay.
appease whatever good stuff's inside the shrine that's keeping the crappy stuff outside the shrine. And then, once that's done, start making a way forward and seeing if I can hear anything, or at least see if anything seems to be here recently.
Okay. All three of you get a competency die for paying your respects.
Do we normally, when you and I run, we give a starting competency die to everybody?
I'm going to give everyone a starting comp die as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So, you guys go into the courtyard. Xiaogui, the minute that you got... Oh, sorry, are you going into the courtyard with them? Sorry.
Yes, I am, of
Okay.
course.
Great. So the moment that you enter the courtyard, you feel a very strong, basically force against you. Like you just got rammed by an animal. And and it just kind of feels like it just goes through you.
Okay.
Why don't you roll me? I'm going to have you roll me a transformation, your shape change skill, to see if you can identify more information from that.
Okay. I rolled 15.
You feel like you just danced with a bull.
Literally a bull.
Literally a bull.
Not figuratively.
Yeah, you feel like you just had a little dance with the bull, like you just barely dodged out of the way, you know, like a matador. That there was this bull just kind of charging at you, and you just dodged out of the way, just barely.
Okay. So he actually, gets blown back and turns to the side a little bit, and
bulls are known for as an agriculturally good omen normally.
Okay. All right.
Unless you're being hit by one. It's not a great omen. Yeah.
There's a bull spirit here, I think. It just ran through me or past me. Can he is there any way that he could sense if it's still around?
Roll me awareness.
Okay. 9 on 2 dice.
You sense that, yes, he is still around. Still nearby.
Still as active or now more calm?
Kind of like, you kind of feel like it's doing the hoof and puffing out of its nose kind of thing.
And it's still uneasy about us. Good spirit, I mean you no harm. We're travelers.
Alice,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, with him, I'm to stop and, at first, because you say, like, it really kind of knocks the wind out of him. So I stop and I turn, I notice it, and then he starts telling us what he feels. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and keep moving into the courtyard, find a tree that I can sit against, pull out my instrument,
Mm-hmm.
and basically try and play a calming song to go along with what Xiaogui is saying.
Sure. 8, what would you like to do?
Okay, I'm just going to stand ready with a spear just in case anything
Okay.
spooky jumps out.
Sure thing. Brandon, and actually, Tujing, you also noticed this as well. The tree that that Brandon sits down beside against, the leaves start to rustle a little bit, like it's catching on wind that isn't there. But and Brandon, you start to play. Anything that you'd like to be doing, Aldo, while he's playing, or just kind of keep with the, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you no harm. He's backing up a little bit away from.
Okay.
Trying to back towards where the food might be, so he can get inside somewhere over there. But I know I'm pretty far away from that right now.
Yeah. No, by all means, you guys can, you can orient yourself so that you can kind of get where he is and just kind of go deeper in the compound.
I would roll a presence, but I'm unskilled, so that means I get a D3 to roll in anything that I don't actually have points in. Which is why earlier I was saying I think he might know the finer points. He might be informed about the finer point about it.
Don't you mean D6, not D3?
No,
oh, yeah, D6.
he has
no, it's a D3. Yeah, I have a
that's right.
base, but I'm unskilled.
You're unskilled.
So the best I could roll is a 3.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So
sure.
Yeah.
But Brandon, you can roll your presence with your arts and crafts, whichever you want to be doing on the play.
I'm going to be using
Mistress of the Strings.
my super performance.
Sure.
Better with strings than with words. So 4
dice.
4 dice. 8, 14.
Okay. Forgot I actually have to roll his skill on that. Ooh, you beat me. Okay. So, yeah, Aldo, you start feeling it calm. You start feeling it calm.
Good.
Now you feel sadness from it.
There's no reason. Why the sadness? He says kind of to it, but then kind of looks over at the entertainer as well, like, it's sad.
Is anybody coming now that we are making a fair amount of noise with music?
Yeah. That's what I'm keeping my eye out for. In case anyone else,
you don't.
Anything else shows up.
You don't see anyone coming, but Tujing, you can make me a military roll.
Okay. That is 2D, I believe. Oh, great. 3.
The rest of you can make me an awareness roll.
Okay.
Better at social than detecting ambushes.
It is not social.
And it's not an ambush either?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I rolled an 8.
I've got a 4, so Xiaogui is is the man here.
Okay. Xiaogui, you actually have other skills that work for this as well, so it makes sense that you would notice this. As you're asking why is he sad, you look around and look down, and on the stone pebbles inlays, you notice what look to be scuff marks from weapons, and you think you see some blood, dried blood.
This place is attacked.
My response on why is he sad is since no one is coming, I was going to say he is alone. There's no one here any longer. And then
he is alone because this place was attacked. Look, blood and weapon marks.
I look to Tujing at that point to lead, basically, and begin putting my instrument away.
Okay, so is there anything that suggests what type of weapons being used? Are we talking spears being set, or like random
bladed, bladed mix?
Okay. Okay. All right. And does the blood trail seem to lead off in any direction in particular, or is it just around this central area?
when he points out the blood, you actually do see that there is a trail that leads towards where you guys were heading anyway, the dining area
Okay.
in the kitchen. So, you guys gonna follow that?
So yeah, I will go spear ready, off trot.
Okay. You guys follow that into the dining area, which leads into the kitchen. And when you guys enter the dining area, you guys see that the entire place is trashed. The chairs are broken. The table has been, broken down, kind of like a, all those Bruce Lee martial arts movies that you see when they go into a tea house or a meal house and break it up.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the scene you guys see here. It's a mess.
I'm picturing Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon after the tea house scene,
Yeah.
and then you have the people that come by afterwards, and they're all beat up, and such. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's quite a bit beat up. It looks like basically even after there was combat, somebody took the effort to just try and break stuff in here for some reason. And the trail.
This is an outrage.
And the blood trail continues to lead into the kitchen.
Okay, and is there any other exits outside of this apart from the kitchen, or is that it?
Yeah, it leads also, so it leads to the left and the right, and so to the left is the kitchen, to the right would be, actually, no, I'm sorry, you'd have to come out and in. So no, there's, directly inside the building, it would be to the kitchen. You can come back out into the courtyard and go over, and there's a door to another room.
Okay, I'll follow the blood trail to the kitchen then.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got the mental hindrance heroic, so he's angry right now about the travesty that's occurred here, and he very immediately and quickly will, with a purpose, follow that blood trail in case there's anybody who's in immediate danger. So he's not being particularly careful at this point about catching up with whatever might have happened or is happening.
So inside the kitchen, just past the doorway, you guys see the body of a woman, a middle-aged woman. She's got a frying pan loosely grasped in one hand, like, she fell with it and it's now open palmed around it. And the blood, she is definitely bleeding. Well, she's got caked blood all over her.
And does her dress seem to suggest that she would possibly have been the greeter that was at the door?
By her manner of dress, yes, it seems like she would be the person greeting.
Okay, well that's solved. Okay, so I will make my way out, obviously, because that's no sign of any actual combatants as such, and then I'll make my way back into the original corridor and then see if there's another exit out from there.
Okay. So from the courtyard, there are 9 rooms outside of the front and outside of the front room and the kitchen and dining area. There are 9 doorways that you can go into.
Oh, crikey. Okay.
Each of them being basically what would be assumed as a bedroom for someone to rest.
Okay.
Or a bathing area.
And I'm assuming all the doors are shut.
Yes, all the doors are shut.
Okay.
Tujin, based on your expertise, how long do you think this blood has been here? How old is this?
So I'll come. So you talk that after me. I'll come back and take another look.
Sure.
And
roll me your
military
yep.
do or
military will do.
9.
9. You would estimate approximately a day.
Okay. So so
examining her, she's dead.
Right, so the likelihood of finding someone here now is probably remote, but there is a possibility, I suppose.
You searched,
and is there any actual sign of how the injuries occurred? Sorry, as well. Is it weapon damage? Is it gore from a bull? Is it Yeah,
actually, you recognize the the way that she was brutalized. A little too well, actually.
Okay.
You have a little bit of a flashback of PTSD because you are pretty certain that, and let me go make sure I wrote a name for him. Yep. You're pretty sure that this is the handiwork of Fujian's men.
Right. Okay. So with that, as soon as that kind of crosses my mind, I'll kind of like strengthen my grip on the spear and kind of like, okay, right, and then turn around and now go and look in those 9 rooms to see if I can actually track down anyone that actually did this.
Okay. So you go. So you're gonna go and look in the rooms. And you know that basically even after the warlords, his band was broken up, that there were a lot of survivors and they went out and became fortune hunters or bandits and such like that. So they kind of
the warlord was defeated?
Eventually, yes.
Oh, okay, because that was not
written.
covered in any of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was written. I thought I did write that. I apologize. That eventually he was defeated, yes, but then his men went out and took up other acts. So while Aid's doing that, Brandon and Aldo, what would you like to be doing?
So Jia Wei is going to go out to the courtyard, and he's going to transform into the Great Eagle. He basically, you all search here. I'm going to see what I can spy from the skies.
Good
And he's going to transform into the Great Eagle and fly up and just start and since I can allocate, at first I'll allocate it all to flight to get up to high altitude, and then I'll use some of my dice in transformation for basically telescopic vision.
Okay.
To basically do like an aerial search of the area, looking for a contingent of men or a camp. I don't know how many people would have been in that group, but you know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I do. Let's see, or signs thereof at least.
Yeah.
Why don't you roll me? So you're trying to basically use shape change as your awareness check. So I'll let you do that because you're using your eagle vision. Go ahead and roll that for me.
Yeah. Okay. It's an 11.
It's an 11.
And I'm using and keep in mind the vision I'm using is telescopic, right? So it's like a super sense, not just a regular sense.
Right. So when you do that, you can see basically disturbances off-road where a trail would have been, basically broken branches and people who pay no attention to trying to cover their tracks. They're just barreling through. So you see that going through between some copses of trees as well as some fields of grain and such like that.
Okay. He will stay up there for a while. So if they're all going to do stuff in the compound, he'll basically try to follow that trail, and from he'll fly very, very high.
Okay.
And try to basically follow that trail aerially, and then come back and report if and when he sees anything, else.
Sure. So Brandon, what are you doing?
I am. I'm going to go ahead and search other areas other than Tujing, because it seems like we are alone.
Okay.
Here, and just start going through the rooms. I'm pretty convinced that we're unlikely to find any people. I think everybody is. So I am looking for anything that might have been left behind to identify those that might have done this, or anything that might be extremely useful for us in this. We still need to eat things like that.
There is food in the pantry and such like that, food in the stores and such. I'm going to roll call highs or lows. Brandon, actually, Aid, you asked first, so call highs or lows.
I have high.
Okay, you have high? Okay. So while you're looking at that, I'm going to go back to Aid and go through what he found, and I'll go to what you found, Brandon. Aid, you start going through the rooms, and you come upon 2 rooms that seem to be permanent residences rather than people coming in and out. Both rooms seem to belong to women, Both rooms belong to females. There are, regular amount of clothes. There's a closet full of clothes. Neither one being of wealthy clothes or accessories, but they seem to be slightly above peasant level. Lower middle class. Like someone basically in the county would be taking care of them, in paying them to take care of this place.
Okay.
Looking through the area, looking through both rooms, neither one has been ransacked, and neither one has been stolen from.
Okay, and they both appear to be current, not ones like ancient and just unused, and the other ones for the lady we just found in the kitchen. You would assume they're both being inhabited at this current point in time.
Both are currently being inhabited.
Yeah. Okay. But so there is a possibility we are missing somebody. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and that's it that we find in all of the nine?
In one of the rooms, you do find actually a flute, and you find a calligraphy set with a fan currently open that it seems like basically they're working on some sort of painting project on the fabric.
Okay.
So that's what you get on, since you called highs. Brandon, you end up going to the other areas, and you find basically guest rooms. They're pretty sparse and barren. There are straw beds with some blankets and such put on top of it for people to rest. There is a small dresser for people to put clothes into, and there is a dish that people can pour water into to wash up. But each of these rooms is very barren.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a mat as well on the floor, with a small little table so that people can sit and drink and eat if they need to.
Okay. Well, if on a quick search, I'm going to go ahead, and at that point, I'm going to head over to the kitchen.
Okay.
And start working, clean up a little bit and start working on food for us.
Okay. Cool. That sounds good. You are going to, so what kind of food are you looking at making for everyone?
It depends on what's there, but I assume making food is part of art and craft.
Yep.
And
I would say it is better with the temporary than permanent. It is not permanent.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out a way to say basically, I'm not, using metal, I'm not using stone, that kind of stuff, and so temporary versus permanent seemed a good way of saying that.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. Okay.
So just basically depending on what's there, just try and start making something for us, and if I can make stuff that'll travel well, that's a great thing.
Okay, you certainly can, and there certainly is materials for making baozi and such like that, or zongzi and luomijis and stuff like that, stuff that travels well, specifically packing into your bags for road. But yeah, you can definitely make some baozi for people. It would take a little bit, but there's the flour's already milled, and it seems like people make that kind of stuff here pretty regularly.
There you go,
Okay. So, Aldo, it's your intention to come back, right?
Yes. Once, if he loses the trail or if he finds something, in either case, he's going to come back and report.
You lose the trail after, I would say, since telescopic lens and it's an eagle, I would guess about a mile out. You, without moving that direction, you lose it about a mile.
Well, do I lose it because it goes into like forested area or something like that, or do I lose it because I will go miles if I have to?
Okay.
I can fly at a pretty good clip. So if I allocate all my to it.
You lose it because it seems to swerve back to a different road. and so once it hits the road, you lose it.
Okay.
So, and I would say
okay.
that would be at about 4 miles out.
Okay. All right. So he will. Then he'll return at that point. He'll land in the courtyard and turn back into human form.
Okay.
And find. He probably smells the food, and will head in that direction.
Okay. I'm going to fast forward you guys at that point to sitting around the table and eating dinner. And, you know, if you guys want to trade any information right now before I take you on to the next scene, feel free.
So I will mention the calligraphy and the flute in one of the rooms, and the fact that there is potentially a second occupant missing.
Taken, maybe.
Yes, possibly.
Okay. Well, I know the direction they would have traveled. They've met a road about 4 miles from here, and I think I know the direction they're headed, but I didn't want to follow without coming back and joining you.
Okay.
Anything you want to share before I move on, Brandon?
The places that I searched, I found no sign of incident other than the trail of blood that we discovered in the courtyard that led to the kitchen.
You guys are...
And when you followed them, Shelgway, did they ride horses? Were they on foot?
Could I tell that, Alice? Based on the, based on what I saw.
You believe that they were not all on mounts, but some were.
Okay. So they're moving at a walking speed, but some of them are mounted.
Walking speed.
Okay. You'll relate that. Is there anything of this flute that would, or this calligraphy that would tell us who was here? Maybe to somebody who knows more of these things, looks at FengShen. If I probably said that wrong, but looks at the entertainer, at Wind's Dreamer, and if they killed the greeter but took somebody, they might have come specifically for that person. Maybe.
I can look at it by all means. I may be able to identify or know if they have marked it with their chop on who has done this, whom we might be in search of.
Okay. Are you gonna go there before you guys? So mid-dinner, you guys are gonna go there, or are you gonna go there after you finish eating, Brandon?
We're sitting down and eating, but
okay, cool.
I get it. Standing up and walking over a couple rooms doesn't sound hard. So
sure, you can go do that right now. That's fine. When you go there and you start looking around, let me go find the characters. There we go. Yeah, you make me an awareness check. Actually, no, make me an academia check instead.
Okay. And what is this in regards to?
This is in regards to looking at the calligraphy in progress and looking around at her stuff.
All right. Well, I rolled a 4, but I'd definitely say that's something that my occupation courtesan would be applicable to
yes.
identify
stuff.
So I'm going to go and use that for the scene. And that's a much better. That's a 12. So I tripled with a reroll.
Sure. Yeah, you actually see someone who isn't trained by the Royal Music Academy, but someone who would have been trained locally. So she does have her own signature, and you gather that her name is Hua Li. Her skill is nowhere near good as yours, but she definitely seems to dabble in it. And there is something odd about the flute of hers. You can't quite put your finger on. Perhaps if you played it, you might be able to figure it out. But
I'm going to clean it first.
Clean it first, yes.
But yeah, I will bring the calligraphy and the flute back to where we are.
Okay. When you come out into the courtyard with those items, I need you to roll me an athletics check. And this would definitely be more acrobatic than strong.
That is only a 7.
You get bowled over. Take a point of damage.
Okay. I get knocked back into the room. I will go ahead and take a 1 off of my composure.
You guys all hear this because she slams up against the door frame before she gets put back into the house.
He stands up and goes out into the courtyard.
So Alice, that sounds more like I'm taking fortitude damage the way that you just described it,
That's
rather
true.
than...
Well, it would be a physical damage because you are literally getting physically hit backwards.
Okay, so I get knocked out then.
Ooh, okay. That's true.
I have 1 die of fortitude, and the description that you're giving me sounds like a fortitude. So.
I would allow you to do reaction damage because you are slowed down on that.
Yeah, well, I was trying to composure because I realized the danger, but then you're saying how I'm getting slammed backwards and such.
Yes.
And knockback is a byproduct of fortitude damage.
This would be, I would say that you could take reaction in the sense that you dodged out of the way just enough that you didn't take the fort damage.
But then I'm still getting the knockback as you're describing. And so I don't mind that,
okay.
But I'm saying that
Sure.
I would be unconscious.
Sure, then Brandon is unconscious for the moment. Fortitude damage. So yeah, you guys definitely hear a little bit of a commotion.
Okay, so rush out there, spear in hand again, take a look around.
She knocked into the door frame, is on the other side of that doorway into the room.
Okay, and as you said about the bull spirit, is there actually footmarks appearing on the actual floor itself, or is this just...
No.
Phantasmal? Okay. Well, go and check. Make sure she's okay. Pick her up.
She's unconscious. She's okay.
Bring her in. Yeah, bring her into the into where we were eating and out the way.
Okay, with the stuff that she was carrying or without?
I was just about to say that. If the flute is on the floor, I will come back and pick that up afterwards because I want to make sure she's inside. First
okay.
I'm going to assume that everything I was carrying
cascaded. Yeah.
Yes. So you can come back and get it after you bring her back. She's she's alive. She's just knocked unconscious. The wind knocked out of her at the moment.
Okay, so yeah, I'll go back and pick the flute up and see what happens.
Okay. So when you try and take the flute with you, same thing happens. You need to roll me, some sort of, let's see here. Fighting. Why don't you roll me fighting, since you know that something's coming at you right now. And
okay, not terrible. An 11.
Sure, an 11. You actually, barely brace yourself as this kind of blows by you. And normally I would let you guys choose your own defense, but this is a particular situation at the moment.
Okay.
So I know.
So it misses me.
Mm-hmm. It misses you.
But do I see any? Is there any physical manifestation, or even if it's just some kind of like shimmering or something, or is it just purely
when you see everything that basically gets displaced by it? So as it's going through the courtyard where there's a little bit of grass around the trees, you see momentarily footprints going through the grass depression and such like that. But you're not seeing anything left behind beyond that.
Okay.
But it does have, enough physical manifestation momentarily.
Okay.
But,
so
you run into the eating area and shut the door with the flute in hand. Okay. Aldo.
Yeah.
You swear you are hearing now the sound of an angry bull. You know how they do this, angry snort? Yeah. You swear you're hearing that now.
Okay.
Door closed.
Yes. Okay. He had probably while I want to say the name right, but I never forgot. Is it Tuping?
Tuping?
Tujing.
Mhm.
While Tujing was out doing that, he was probably
Trying to
with
wake
her.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to wake her up.
Sure.
And now that Tujing's back in, and he hears the bull, he'll be like, you know.
So tell me what skill you're going to use to wake her.
Oh gosh. Anything I try is going to be at 3. I was going to say fighting. It's like, but not. No. Can he try? No, I really don't have anything. So he's just trying because it's nice, but he's not being effective. Unless a 3 will do it. You want roll D6 or D3, I should say.
Wow.
I mean, she'll come to in about 10 minutes anyway.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, you don't have anything. Cool, we're good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he'll just wait.
Okay.
So when I arrived back through the door, I kind of mentioned that obviously I saw something, or at least something appeared to be charging, and your bull spirit appears to be angry for whatever reason. And I'm assuming it's something to do with this flute, because it only seemed to charge when I picked it up.
It must be in some way connected to whoever owned it. Once we know what we learn, what we can from it, we should probably, well, I don't know, maybe we should leave it here to not anger it.
Okay.
Maybe our friend here can play it and calm this thing down.
Maybe.
If it's a possibility. I wouldn't be any good at it, so.
Nor I.
So I will just sit on the ground and kind of looking towards the door to make sure
nothing
rushes through.
Nothing's rushing through.
Right.
Yeah, it seems to be in the courtyard. Yeah, it seems to be in the courtyard. So, you guys can eat and wait for her to wake up. She's going to wake up in 10 minutes. Get your fort back, Brandon. And they've got the flute. And as the 10 minutes go by, Aldo hears the sound pretty consistently, but every once in a while, Aid, and actually after you wake up, Brandon, just right after you wake up, both of you hear kind of that snort, almost like the wind's hitting trees the wrong way, but it sounds almost animalistic.
Mm-hmm.
But Aldo consistently hears this puff and the hoof back and forth.
Okay.
So, Brandon, you're awake.
And I'm all of a sudden, wake up in a shock and, checking, myself and such. What happened?
You angered the bull and it attacked you. What?
Waiting for it and you got the horns,
And you got the horns.
So I said, well, okay, well I rescued the flute you were carrying, and it seems to be linked to the attack. So I don't know if you want to try using it and seeing if it can calm this thing down, or.
She pulls herself to her feet and tries to reestablish her composure, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
As she's just was kind of panicked at waking up, and that very much goes against the training that she has received of never let him see you sweat.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she will stand up and after taking that moment, go ahead and walk on over and take the flute and begin examining it more closely.
Sure. Looking at it, you realize that it's not made of wood. It's made of bone, but then you keep looking at it and no, it's made of tooth. A very large tooth. Like a horn. Ivory. It's very, very rare.
Does the tooth that I noticed earlier, would that match up with this?
Material, yes. But this would be much larger because it is this full-sized flute.
Do I think that this might be a bull's horn that has been carved into this?
Actually, yes. you think it could be.
How
Or a very, very large tusk.
well, as bulls don't have tusks, that was not what I was thinking. I take a little while examining it physically, turning it over in my hands, feeling the grain of it and such, and kind of make the absent comments of, it's not wood, it's bone. And then after a time of doing that and feeling it, I will go ahead and try to play it.
Okay. When you start to play it, go ahead and roll your musician, your mistress of strings, super aptitude and performance. You will gain a competency die for this. You're one die up playing this.
Oh, okay.
Gain a bonus die for playing this.
Not great. 11 on 4 dice.
Okay. 11 on 4 dice. As you start playing it, the room around everyone changes. You are enthralled by it, so you're not really sensing that. But the rest of you, you're kind of seeing the room start to change around you. At an 11, it's not high enough to get the minutia of the details, but you actually start. What are you playing actually, Brandon? Because that'll determine the scene that they see.
Given the what we're dealing with here, it's a sad song of mourning, is what I intend to play. Okay. But it depends. At first, I'm just kind of doing scales and such like that, and it would depend on what it seems like it should play.
Okay. When you start playing scales, what the other two start to see is, instead of the room that you guys are in, you guys see basically a pond and pebbles skipping across it with each note. And when you start to just kind of let the music flow, Brandon, the two of you, you see blurs of combat in this room. And you see a big, like a huge man, well beyond the size of what a man should be around here, kind of like a giant ripped lumberjack of a man, but you see no distinctive features. It all comes in like gas and wisp and fog, kind of, and he just comes in, he starts beating and just tossing them, trying to protect two people. And you see basically something, it's once again, it's just this cloud of mist and fog as it's coming through. It jams into the back of him, and he falls and he disperses, completely disappears. And one of them is dragged out by her hair, and the other one, you see basically, a mass of energy, a mass of smoke and fog and mist of motion around her, not being able to tell exactly what's happening to her. But the next thing you see is her down on the ground, while the other one being dragged out by her hair.
And I'm not really aware of this, you said.
Yeah.
Okay, he's kind of looking wide-eyed at the scene. He's very much affected by it, but he's quiet. He's just watching it.
Okay. And Brandon, it's towards the end, basically, as the last of that woman being dragged out of the room, and then the images start to fade away. That's when you become aware of it. You come out of this trance and you actually see for 2 or 3 seconds of it as it's fading away.
What is the bull doing, sound-wise, in response to what she was playing?
Um, it's doing, when bulls are very sad and upset and they do that kind of baying that bulls do.
Mm-hmm.
That's you hear that baying outside, and you're the only one.
We must bring her back.
Okay.
What did you see?
He looks over at Tujing. We saw what happened here. The bull was in the form of a powerful man, and was killed. He was trying to protect the cook and the woman who was taken. He was killed, and then she was dragged away. We must bring her back. It was angry because you were trying to take the flute from here, the last remnant of her here. The question is, do we leave it here? Do you have any more need? Or do we leave it here as we follow?
I have underestimated the quality of Hua Li. If her flute is able to do such, I think that it would be valuable for us to bring with us to reunite it with her.
I don't think the bull will understand, but if we can get to the roof, I can fly us from here without having to go through the yard.
Actually, yeah. Could you fly just above the room, like above head height, effectively? You just go flying through the actual room itself above head height.
I would have to step out into the courtyard to transform. Is there a way? Is there typically a way up to the roof, like a ladder and hatch type of thing from the inside? Yeah.
No, not typically.
No.
Typically, it's outside access.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, ninjas would have a lot easier of a time, wouldn't they?
Well, I mean, there are locks, right?
Yep. But typically, no, it's not designed that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, is your plan then to go in the morning, or to sleep the night? Here, I mean, or to leave now? Weather outside is certainly getting worse.
Yeah, he'll defer to what everybody else says, but he's itching to go right.
But yeah, it makes sense to go as soon as possible. But if we get lost in the in this and end up straying off the track, it's probably going to not help anybody. So maybe we should wait until see if the storm passes first.
Okay.
Even if it means tomorrow morning, yeah.
Sure. So you guys are going to finish your meal, and are you guys going to hunker down in here, or figure out a way to move the flute, or where are you guys planning on resting for the night?
I would say one of the rooms, right? There are rooms for the guests.
Sure. So how are you trying to deal with the flute in the meantime?
I want to try carrying it out with me, playing it while I do on a kind of a pastoral, calming. This area is the shrine out front is supposed to be about harvest and such like that. Mm-hmm. So, something that is appropriate to play for some sort of celebration for that.
Sure. You successfully do so, and you guys can go to your rooms. That's fine. At this point, is there anything you guys would like to do before I pass this to morning? Okay.
I'm good.
Yep.
Morning comes, and you guys pack your things. The sun starts to rise, and as you guys come out into the courtyard, you guys see the bleeding form, a conscious bleeding form of a giant of a man laying in the center of the courtyard. And he's reaching, a hand up. He has this big gaping wound in his chest, and he's raising his hand up and waving for all of your attention.
Run over.
I am weak, but it seems you are all heroes here. You must save Hua Li.
We will. That is where we head.
Then you will have my everlasting gratitude. If you do. The men, they took her to trap me. They failed. But they will come back if you do not find them first.
Alice, I am on the flute, seeing him. I want to play a song of healing.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead. So I'm using the flute instead of my strings, so I'm only at 3 die. I'm gonna burn both my comp dice.
You get an extra die whenever you use that die as a reminder, or use this flute, I mean.
Masterwork flute, guys.
Yes, it's a masterwork flute.
Not like my crappy instrument, apparently.
It's actually a magical flute.
Okay. 10, 23.
23. Okay. You see, when you start doing that, you see him basically start to phase in and out. You recognize it, Aldo. You've dealt with this enough that you see basically that he is kind of shifting between the form of a bull and man, back and forth, as things start to stitch as the music is playing. And but everyone else you see basically flashes and phantasms of this visage of a big bull. And the bull only has one horn, Brandon. Because the horns of bulls do not grow back. And Brandon, roll me an academia.
13.
He is probably why Aid was saying the land is sick. He would probably be the spirit of this region, of this land, and so he's probably the reason why the land is sick. You know, you're able to help heal some of his wounds, but he is definitely weak after that still.
Am I able to return the horn to him?
Interesting. How would you like to try to do that?
Stab it into his head. Hard. Just, as the music is going and such, and he seems to be shifting back and forth, and they're having their conversation, and that can continue for a while. But that I feel that kind of resonance. I will, as they're talking, and I want to go and look at that. Go to the entryway, the foyer, for that chip.
Okay.
And does that seem to match?
Yes, that matches. That would match his tooth, one of his teeth.
So his teeth, not his horn.
Right.
Okay. But just see if I can play a song to continuing that song of healing, and that and in the end, basically, yes, that they merges into his back into his head when he is in bull form.
Okay. Roll. That was a 23 that you got before?
Yes.
With a 23, I will allow that. And yeah, his horn regrows, but he goes back to the form of a man at the end of the song. Aid, is there anything you would like to be doing while these things are happening, or are you just going, oh my gosh?
Yeah,
Goodbye,
pretty much.
magic flute.
Yeah. Take a look around. See if there's any signs of anybody else kind of lurking in the vicinity. But apart from that, yeah, keep glancing back and figuring out what's going on and keeping an eye on what's happening. Yeah.
Okay. Aid, why don't you roll me an awareness while the other two are, and the other two can as well, but you've got a much lower DC.
I have 2D in awareness, and it's only a 4.
That's only a 4?
It's only a 4.
Your dice aren't working right now.
No.
Higher threshold for the other two, but you guys can also
12.
12.
I also rolled a 4. So.
Okay.
I got boxcars on my 2 dice.
I hear that, Brandon.
If it's an ambush, that's 1 less die, and if it's social, I get another.
Okay, never mind.
So I got 6. I still got 6 then.
You still got 6. But you said you brought the tooth back, Brandon? To see about matching it?
Well, I went over there and tried to match it, but if it didn't seem like it was part of that. See, I thought that maybe that they all fit together or something.
Nope. That seemed like it was a tooth, one of his teeth.
So if I think that my song might be able to do awesome things for that as well, sure.
Well, if you bring okay. So yeah, it doesn't seem to fit. When you come back, as you're coming back, though, you did get a 6. I am, at this point, going to ask you guys to roll me some reaction rolls, some initiative. Because at 6, you're still not quite getting it. 8, okay.
14.
Okay.
Okay, and react to D. 6.
Okay, so 8's a 6, Brandon's a 6, right?
Yep, 8 can go first.
Okay, and Aldo, what were you?
14.
Oh, okay. Great. I am going to get to go first because none of you became aware of this. You guys see basically, not basically, you guys see charging through the front foyer of the room, and Brandon, you're leaving the room at this point. Men are coming in. There are 4 men dressed in plated armors. They're cheap plated, the holes, and I forget the name of it. I apologize, but the plated type of armor that is pieces of stuff put together, and they are all carrying swords. And you would be the first person they see, Brandon, but they're not actually going to get an attack this round. In the courtyard, you hear the man say, "They're back. They're trying to trap me. You must save Hua Li." So, at that point, Aid, your initiative. Because, actually, I'll just go back up to the top. Aldo, you're in it.
Okay.
At this point, you're aware something's happening. You've got 4 guys coming into the compound.
Okay, so draw his sword, and sort of acrobatics leap over there. Do we? Can we do, stylistically speaking? When we do use our athletics, does it have that kind of quality that
in Wuxia or FengShen? Yeah, the wind walking. Yes.
Yeah, so he's basically going to jump in the air and wind walk over there and strike at one of the men with monkey style using his sword.
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. Now, just to make sure, I see that the cost of my fighting is 3, and I have 3D in it, and then monkey style next to it. I'm assuming that's a specialization, so I have 4 dice with monkey style?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, just making sure. All right. 12, 13, 14, 16.
16. Okay, so the first of the 4 men basically countercharges you when he sees you coming, and he's trying to basically sidestep you and try and sideswipe you. And he fails, and you land a solid blow with your sword into his side. Okay,
all right. So yeah, and he'll then do a flourish with the sword, and he's basically was trying to interpose himself between him and Brandon's character.
Sure. And Wind's Dreamer. Okay.
Wind's Dreamer, yes. Wind's Dreamer.
Okay, and then it is their action next. So you are interposing, so I'm going to have all 4 of them attack you.
Fun.
One of them's the one that you just swung into on the side. He is going to swing at you wildly. And he's going to spend that. Oh, wow, that sucks. That's only a 10. Wait, 9.
10.
Sorry, 9. I apologize.
A 9. Okay, he's going to defend with reaction to try to step out of the way. And 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's how I beat him on the nose.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
So you just step right out of the way because he's just, massing just wildly because he's bleeding out. The other two, the other 3 are going to attack you as well. That one is a 15.
A 15.
Yep.
I'm going to use athleticism acrobatics to try to evade that one. That is going to be, he got me by 1. I rolled 14, so I'm going to take a die of damage.
So he just basically clinks right off your shoulder, clips you in the shoulder, and you kind of roll with it a little bit, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yes, and I am going to take it to fortitude.
Okay. 11 is the third, and the fourth one is a 6.
Okay, here I'm going to have to dig a little. The 6, I'm going to try to dodge that one with awareness by noticing it's coming in and ducking under it.
Okay. And these very much, their fighting style seems very lack of training. They, it's kind of like when you see the martial arts movies and they just start running in with the swords and they're just swinging and, like the grunts. And that's exactly the image that, is evoked here. They're not being stylistic in their, knees, they're not kicking you. They're not dancing around you, stuff like that. They're just mass coming at you.
Yeah. Okay. So that one, I dodged the 6. I dodged successfully. Well, there's another one in 11.
Yeah, 11.
Okay, with that one, I'm going to try to defend. I have to roll 2 6s here, or actually a 5 or 6. I'm going to try to defend with composure.
Okay.
And basically, it's like stand up after the dodge and give him a stare that basically says like back off, so he won't actually strike me.
So you're just like monkey and whack, evade.
Yeah.
You're bouncing around like a monkey.
Oh, but I got like totally impaled. I rolled. He was not intimidated by my 3. So, yeah. So he got what?
2 steps, it sounds like. Yep.
Yeah. So he got me good. I'm going to have to take them both. I'm going to take 1 from composure and 1 from reaction.
Okay. Aid, your action. Go show them how to fight.
Okay, cool. Right, so I am going to charge in with my spear. So that would be 4D, because I've got the specialty, is that correct? 3D plus. Okay. Here we go. So first guy I'm striking, that's a 16.
16. Ooh. Which one are you going for? The one that's already been smacked or another one?
Yeah, we might as well, because we're thinning the numbers quicker. Yeah, do that one.
Sure. You spear him into the chest, and now you have to shake him off of the front of your chung. You've got him impaled. Barbecue bandit. New special on the menu.
Cool. Okay.
Okay. Brandon, your action.
Okay. I already have my string instrument put away. Have just done that. So while I'm pulling my string instrument out, I am going to basically try and curse these guys out with presence. Who are you to come to this place to defile it? We have the spirit of this protecting us and on our side. Your spirits will not even make it to the ancestors when my friend stabs you through the heart. Okay, 7-13 on a presence against, I guess, one of them, because I don't have an AE or anything on that.
Yeah, you say that, and standard martial arts movie move of the guy, leans back in shock and then tries to regain his composure and tries to shake it off and come back. But that image of those goons leaning back, yeah, that's exactly what he does. Yeah, because he can't beat that on the. Yeah, he did not beat that. Definitely.
I'm going to, my fan in my hand at that point, and I'm pulling out my string instrument in the other hand.
Okay. Actually, in fact, with how low he rolled, he is going to rout. You say that, he's like, dude, I want my heart. Turns around and runs out the door. So, back to Aldo, your action.
Okay, well, he's after getting kind of stabbed, and he only took one die so he probably got slashed, but he pulled back, so it was only like a glancing blow.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, he will press his attack. Now that two of them have been thinned, he'll press his attack with the sword and go for one of the guys that's remaining.
Okay.
So let's see. Whoops.
Table flip.
Everything okay over there?
Hang on a second. I had a very enthusiastic roll there.
I saw that.
Knocked my headset off here. Let's see. But I also paid off because I rolled pretty well. I rolled an 18.
Nice.
Yeah.
18.
That's on 4 dice. Yeah.
So you're using your sword on this guy, thrusting at him.
Yep.
18. That beats my 8 by 10.
There you go.
So he takes 2. He goes unconscious.
Okay. Cool.
You get a square shot on him, and he starts to bleed out. I've got 1 left. This one is going to try and rush by all of you. So see if you guys catch him. So he's going to run into the courtyard, and he's pulling a pouch off his hip, and he's trying to he tosses it towards the man. Let's see if he.
I don't have any comp dice to blow on an interpose at the moment.
I do, and that's exactly what I was considering doing, unless
Okay. Aldo and Age should still have 2 based on my count.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so the only thing I was thinking is throwing my spear and trying to catch this thing out of the air as it before it hits the guy.
Sure. You guys are welcome to interpose. Which one of you wants to try interposing first?
You want to go for it, Ed?
I'll go for a 2 dice. Yeah,
Sure.
We'll roll 2 dice, and we'll throw the spear and see if we can skewer this bag before it hits the guy.
Okay. That sounds like a cool
9.
image.
A 9,
It is.
not too bad.
9. Okay. So let me roll his thingy. Ooh, he did get a 7. So you get it right by the loops of it, and the spear gets dink right into the a nearby tree trunk with the bag hanging off of it, and it's bouncing.
Okay.
Just barely. Well, Aid, I forget, when you do that with the competency die, do you basically spend your action? Or, so at this point I'm skipping him, right? It's my memory?
That's a good question. I don't remember what I
I think
wrote.
that's the way that it was.
Okay.
But
I don't think so either. I think it's an extra. You're spending the die to get an extra action.
I'll have to
Extra
double
action,
check
yeah.
that later, but yeah, I think you're right then. Aid, your action.
Okay, so with
You
that,
can
I
disarm.
will just basically pile into him from behind and see if I can just basically barrow him down.
Okay.
So that will just be the 3 die for fighting. So 11.
11. You knock him out on his face. I apparently rolled a triple 1.
Okay.
I rolled a 3.
You good?
Triple 1.
Okay.
So he is completely out. You hit him really hard in the back.
Okay.
My silly dice betrayed me. I was hoping for a little bit more of a goon fight. Okay. But this
Well
is the
fought, my
first.
friends.
Don't worry, this is the first fight. So, you have 2 unconscious, well, 3 unconscious, 2 of them are bleeding out, one's just knocked with Tweety birds, and you have 1 flea.
You know what? I'm going to turn into an eagle and see if I can spot the one who fled.
Sure. You go and do that. Brandon, what about you? What are you doing?
I'm going to go and try and stop the bleeding on one of the ones that is currently bleeding. I have no medical, so it's like a die.
Okay, go ahead and roll your die. Aid, what will you be doing?
I'm gonna
I got a 1.
Oh,
so
God,
Tourniquet to the neck. That always works.
I thought I just kind of stepped on the wound where the spear went in, you know.
Deeper. Wound needs to go deeper. Aid, what about you?
I'm gonna go and check the bag that I got off the spear and see what's exactly inside it.
Okay. I'll get back to you then on that. And let me go to Aldo real quick. Aldo, for you, when you go out, roll me your awareness check or your spot check with your eagle vision.
Yeah, let's see. With the eagle vision, it's an 18 on 4 dice because I'm using 1 die to fly.
You can easily catch or find him because he's not exactly being stealthy as he's running off. He's currently following the road a bit, but looks like he's going in a similar direction to where the other guys were.
Okay, yeah. So I will, when I get the chance, I'm going to swoop down with eagle claws and try to capture him, lift him, and
okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you roll that for me before I get back to 8?
Okay. It's 14.
14. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got him.
Okay, cool.
I got a 13. 661.
Okay.
So you got him. Claws on the shoulder. Lift up. And he starts screaming and flailing. His legs flailing, his arms flailing, screaming.
Okay. And when it's appropriate for him to do so, he's going to fly back towards a courtyard and basically drop him in, but make sure that I get some good velocity so he kind of like tumbles on the ground at the feet of whoever's in there, essentially.
At Aid, it sounds like. Okay, so Aid, you're going to go check the pouch.
Yeah.
Oh, how are you going to check what's in the pouch exactly? Like, are you going to put your face in it?
So what is it? Just like is it a string drawn pouch or is it like a flat bag?
Yeah, it's a string drawn satchel.
I'll just untie it and open it up. See what's inside. Okay.
You need to roll me some sort of fortitude-like save. You can figure out what you think would work for you, but it has to basically be something.
Death.
Yeah, it has to be basically something. Describe.
I'll go for that. I'll go for a 3D fortitude roll just to see what's going on.
Sure.
And that's pretty good. That is a 14.
14. Okay. You want to sneeze and your eyes burn. You don't know what's in this, but this powder. Powder's as soon as you open it, the powder's starting to get in the air, and it's just making your nose water and itch and want to sneeze, and your eyes are burning. Not fun.
Okay. So I'll redraw the bag and
Kind of like if Mace aerated.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Take it off the spear and then take the spear out and keep hold of it.
Cool. So put the bag away, sure. And right about now, you hear ah! And at your feet is another guy. Aid.
Okay, so is he out or is he still conscious?
Oh, he's out by the time that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, Brandon, what would you be doing while these two are doing that?
I'm applying pressure.
Okay, still applying pressure. Cool. So, you have 4 guys. 2 of them are basically dead. The other 2 are knocked for a loop. What is your guys' intention at this point? Oh, quick note: the man definitely the healing has helped Brandon, but he is very weak, and he's basically now able to crawl around, but he doesn't seem to be able to get strength in his legs to stand up.
Gotcha. So seeing that I was unable to help this individual, medical just wasn't something we learned at Courtesan Academy. I'll go ahead and start dragging the bodies out. There's no reason for them to befoul this place.
Okay.
And I guess I'll start tying up the other 2 when we get the chance, the unconscious ones.
And also, checking these guys over, did this warlord chappie have any kind of tattoos or anything that signified these people were his men, or is this, do they appear to be unbranded, or
The men seem to basically have the markings, the brands seared into them from being the warlord's men at some point. One of them seems to have basically tried to get rid of it through marring up the skin area around it. The other three still have it.
Okay.
So yes, it definitely seems like they are of the at one point having worked for Fujian.
Okay. So I'll kind of curse his name under my breath, and then and continue help move the bodies outside with Brandon. Yeah.
Okay. When you're moving the bodies out, Aid, why don't you roll me a 2-die awareness check again, because of your farming background.
Okay, that's 10.
That's a 10. The weather definitely seems to be clearing already, and the plant life seems to basically be a little less sick.
Okay.
And it seems it's just, this turn, it should basically take months to get to that kind of sickness, or months to get, months of natural slowdown, or months of restorative, but it just like that, it seems to basically start to be changing. Some of the half blooms on the trees are starting to bloom this morning from the sun.
Okay. So I'll make a note of it, and kind of look, I think something's changing already, kind of thing, and kind of make a note to it, Brandon.
Okay.
Let's do so.
I will look and notice what Aid's referring to. A smile comes over my face in stark opposition with the darkness that we've been dealing with this day, and the dirty work. And in a very Disney princess kind of vibe, I see a bird flying around, and I reach my hand out, and it lands on it and gives a very pastoral feel to the whole thing.
Awesome. Totally fits too. Okay. You guys clean up the bodies. You guys have 2 prisoners that are not unconscious and not bodies. What do you guys do?
Should we question them and find out, see if they'll give us any reliable information, or should we just follow the trail we know is already there?
I suppose if they've got a camp nearby, which is entirely possible, they might at least be able to tell us where that is. So.
Okay.
All right. So that's the plan.
Talking will always get one further than ignoring what they have to say.
Okay.
Yes, if you can trust them, you're better at getting at talking to people than me.
Okay. So they start coming around. One of them is got a massive concussion after the dunk, 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 dunk. Throw. Dunk, 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 dunk. Bowling with bandits. So, bowling with bandits, they start waking up.
Alice, I think you could make a board game called Bowling with Bandits, where you literally have giant eagles that are picking the bandits up and bowling them down.
Oh my gosh, that does sound fun, doesn't it? And you have to make different terrain.
I don't know what the gameplay of it specifically is, but I think you could sell that.
That'd be funny. Okay. So, as they start waking up, they seem rather belligerent. I assume that you guys are going to, tie them up or something?
Yeah, I was tying them up while they were taking them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, before they wake, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, they are awake. Who's interrogating?
That is probably me.
Okay.
I'll stand behind looking menacing. And,
that was exactly my thought.
Yeah.
Good cop, bad cop. And scary eagle cop.
And eagle, yeah. Good cop, bad cop, eagle.
It's a classic combination.
Very classic, yeah. I mean, yeah. You know, it was the first draft of RoboCop, and they said, nope, that's plagiarism. Can't do it.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, Brandon, take it away.
So you know, it's too bad that I cannot imitate the awesome accents, but the all sorts of movies that we watch where the Asian woman is cursing them out.
I'm sorry, but
and...
may my mother rest in peace, but you do a pretty good impression of my mother. Feel free to go that way.
Yeah, but I don't think your mother would be this character.
That's true. That's true.
So, but as they wake up, it's sure I'll go with some stuff that I know. And with my fan, in hand and such, I look at him, and it's like, oh, I'm supposed to get the fan. Yes. What is your name? Obviously, your name is Pig, for only a pig would be so stupid as to have come here to try this, to anger the spirits. Well, you can be a big pig too. Pointing at the other one. What is it that you hope to accomplish? Why has this man angered you so much?
Angered? No. Big pig gonna be big rich.
And how do you think that you would get rich? This place is not that wealthy. It is only a small thing.
Oh, but that's not a man. That's a spirit.
Well, let us not go around talking about who is not a man. Your name might come up a few times, Big Pig. Why is it that you wish to hurt the spirit?
Well, boss says if we get him and get his girl, we can be rich. That we can
Where's
get
your
all
boss?
the riches. He's back at camp.
You don't even know the way, do you?
I do too.
You relied on your two dead companions to guide you, and now both of you are lost.
I do too know the way. You go down the road that way, and then he goes, wait. He blabbers on a bunch of instructions before he realizes, wait, I shouldn't have done that. So.
And who is your boss?
Xiao Tiao.
So what's that mean?
I'm not gonna. He apparently gives his boss a rather derogatory-ish name, not in a derogatory sense. Like some names that can be derogatory or not derogatory. So it has the potential to be a very derogatory name. So I'm not gonna go there.
You're not going to tell us what this name
we'll
means.
We'll say it translates to Little Tim.
So and that name doesn't. I'm not aware of that name, no.
Is Aid aware of the name from his time with the warlord?
Roll me a military check.
Okay. 2d8.
8. Yeah, he was basically a nobody that got given that derogatory name by his bosses because he was terrible, and so you're surprised that he would lead any band at this point.
Okay, so yeah, I will relay that information. So yeah, that name seems familiar. Seems like a very small fish trying to swim in a large.
You claim to be a big pig, but you follow a Timmy?
Well, someday I'll be big boss.
How? How following a young boy in a farm? That is a Timmy.
He seems very confused by what you said.
So, but we've got a good idea of where their camp is from him.
Yes.
And what of Hua Li?
She's just supposed to be bait. They said that he'll come and try and save her, but then we got him, and yeah, she's just insurance.
Where is your insurance? It seems far from you. You seem very uninsured at the moment.
Hey, wake up! Where'd they put her? I don't know. Small pig.
So, does he seem to be being honest with me as he says that he does not know on a 15?
Yeah, he seems pretty honest.
Okay.
On that. Somewhere in camp, he thinks. They split up.
I look over at the Bad Cop and Eagle Cop and see if they've got anything else that they want.
I think we have all we need.
Yeah. Just what do we do with him now, is the question.
I think that they have messed with the bull.
yeah, that's true, yeah.
And now it is time for them to get the horns. So,
Okay.
but yeah, this is his place.
Yep, the first two bodies just became fertilizer.
You come to decompose?
You come to decompose? First two became fertilizer. I mean, So it depends on what you guys want to do with that.
Well,
meting out justice is outside of my general profession. I am here to help and find Hua Li.
Has the bull actually recovered at all?
He is, he's weak, but, his wound sealed up, but he is very weak at the moment.
Okay. I think I suppose we leave it for his own choice, I suppose.
Okay. Well, as benevolent as he is, he's kind of not exactly nice and vengeful. He's not exactly forgiving, as you guys have noticed in his attack of you guys. What were you going to say, Aldo?
I was going to say, is there somewhere relatively nearby that's really high and perilous?
There's always the sky.
Well, I mean, are we near a mountain peak or anything like that? I don't want to drop them.
Yeah, you guys are in plains.
In plains, okay. So I can't, leave them on the top of somewhere really high where it would take them.
There's always trees.
There are trees, yes. There are plenty of trees.
Okay.
You can leave them on the top of trees if you want. Let them climb themselves down as punishment. So.
Yeah, you know what? He'll do that. He'll say, "I'll deal with them," and he'll turn into an eagle and grab hold of one shoulder each, so they're gonna have a rough ride. And he'll go to the tallest trees that he can find, miles from here in the other direction.
Okay.
And drop them on the topmost branches.
I can't climb.
Well, you'd better learn. And while you're trying to learn that, try to learn to be better people.
Okay.
And then he'll fly back towards.
Sure. So you head back. And now you guys are going to go and start tracking down the camp?
Yes.
Okay.
That's.
So.
Alice. Mm-hmm. Did the bodies that we took out have anything valuable on them, by the way?
A couple coins
cool.
on each of them, and some pretty weak weapons.
No, that's the coins. You know, I drop those in the dish as we leave.
Okay,
Hmm.
cool. So scene fade to black, and you guys are gonna get, and we open up with you guys near the camp. Uh, as you guys near the camp, you guys see that it's made up of a number of tents. They seem, kind of Mongol in design on the tent style. For those who have a reference of what that means, on what that looks
Yeah,
like.
Mhm.
it's from Flash Gordon.
That's exactly what I thought she just said. Yes.
Mongolian style.
Mongolian.
Mongol,
Yes.
yeah.
Mongol
Yes.
style.
Yes.
Um, in tents, so they're the round pavilions with, the
Yurts.
yes, yurts is a good description of them. There seem to be one big one and two small ones around it. Two small ones next to it. And they seem to have created a little bit of a cordon where they have some stuff set up and around it. So it seems like a relatively permanent, but they can up and move if they want. So, but
Mhm.
it's not an overnight, here and go.
Mhm.
And as you guys get near it, though, you guys definitely notice that there's quite a bit of commotion. You see dozens of men.
Okay. First thing, is this simply like a bandit camp, or is there other people that look like they're here?
Uh, this looks like there seem to be more than just bandits here. There are women and children.
Hmm. That look like they're part of the community, or
Yes.
that look, yeah, okay.
There are a couple women. Why don't you all make me awareness checks on that?
Okay.
Considered social or not?
This would be definitely social.
Ooh, not good.
18.
18.
Yeah,
Um,
I got 4.
You're good at 4 on awareness.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Aldo, what was your check?
6.
Okay, Brandon, you're the only one that notices this then. Of the half dozen women you guys spot moving about when you guys are scouting it out from a little bit of a distance, about 2 of them, of the half dozen, seem despondent about about being there.
So
Pressured
better
into
than,
being wives,
yeah,
kind of thing.
they aren't so much. They're still prisoners, but they're not in cells, basically.
Yes. They're I take, I bash you on the head, I'm a warlord, I steal you as my wife kind of type of, despondency to it. You get that sense.
And they're basically trapped at the community because where are they going to go?
Yes. They're alive, they're getting fed, they
Yeah.
have, yeah. So, you can tell that kind of despondency out of 2 of the half dozen you spot.
Okay. Well, I will mention that to my 2 compatriots here. Well, there are women here. Not all of them are willing. I'm uncertain if any of them are, but some of them certainly seem that they have no place else to go beyond this.
Hmm.
And should they leave or act up, I would estimate that they would just imagine things would get worse for them as they tried to find their way.
Hmm.
What about the kids, Alice?
The boys from a young age seem to be play fighting already or being taught to fight. You see no girls. You see no young girls, you see only boys. And the boys, are taught with wooden swords and they're being trained. And there are a couple dozen people here.
I look to the 2 of you on what we might do about this. They outnumber us greatly.
Yeah, that's the problem. I take. What time of day is it now? Still the afternoon or evening, morning, or
It would be mid-afternoon.
no?
Mid-afternoon,
So,
about 3.
so we can either count down and wait until it's darkness hits, or whatever. I don't know.
What do you think our chances are if we wait till dark that we could sneak in and at least lay eyes on Wally? So we know where she is and maybe we can extract her, you know.
When given a choice, I'd say the giant tent is a good starting point. So
I have learned to walk with grass, but I look over at the lamellar armor. I don't know if we all could do.
So you guys all noticed, that 3 tents, even with one being a giant pavilion, that is not enough to house the dozens of folks. And so looking around, those of you with military training or peasantry background, you do get the sense, this is not something Brandon would get the sense of, but there are a number of people that would be relegated to sleeping by fires on the outside.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Under the stars.
And what's their horse count?
Good question. I would say that they have 8 horses.
Okay.
all kind of kept in the same area?
Yes. All kept off in the far side from where you guys are. Far right side of where you guys would be. Thinking.
If
yeah, waiting's probably still the best thing, I think.
Okay. You guys are gonna wait for the night?
Xiaowei, if you do think that sneaking in that you might be able to find something, I might be able to cause a disturbance that would scatter most of the men into tasks.
All right.
I should be able to rile the animals up, make them run. Then the men would need to go after them.
If you let me get relatively close on one side of that big tent and then do that, maybe I could cut my way into the tent and see what I can see.
And you just have one. You just have eagle form, don't you? You don't have any other shape change.
No, it's just eagle form.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Aid, one last thing I do want to bring up to you.
Uh-huh.
All the tents do look like the same tents that Fu Jian's men would have used.
Okay, cool.
So, it's still got his emblazoned embroidery kind of thing and such.
Okay. Okay.
It will, to not be noticed by them, it will take me some time to stir the animals to such a degree that they will break their leads.
All right. Is this the plan then?
Sounds like it at the moment.
You start with the plan and see where it goes, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And
okay.
Tujing, where will you be?
So I'll get near enough to like the tents as possible without immediately alerting people by. So maybe some way off within dashing distance.
So that when you call now, he runs at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I screw up my intrusion roll, yeah, I won't be alone.
And so, Alice, I'm going to be on the
far right
other side.
Yep, the opposite side
from them, basically, and close to where the horses are. And my plan is just basically going to be letting music float on the wind that the horses will hear, but the people won't really.
Okay.
And a dirge effectively to just kind of make the horses uneasy, and as it keeps going, that eventually that they would break their tethers and run.
Okay. Cool beans. Then, so how are you planning on playing a dirge quiet enough that the other people don't hear it?
In a frequency that humans aren't going to hear.
Okay. Let's see how you do on that skill roll then for me.
Okay.
And Alice, just so you know, while he's doing that, I'm positioning intrusion.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear them, if she's successful, then he's going to use intrusion to sneak up to the main tent and cut his way in.
And we're waiting for like the dead of night, right?
Right.
Yeah.
To do a frequency that human ears can't hear, I would say you probably will want to do a craft roll to modify your Liu Qing.
Oh, sure. Beforehand?
Yep. To modify it so that, because the Liu Qings are, they don't make high frequency or low frequency naturally too much.
Can you give me a what the string instrument is?
Happy to. Let me go and get you a picture.
Because I totally don't know what it is.
Go and look up. Yeah, that's the spelling. Liuqin. Look that up, and you'll see exactly what it is.
Okay, that is what I was expecting that I was playing.
Okay, cool.
I just didn't know.
It's I think it's the Chinese version of the pipa. A pipa. I guess that's what Westerners call it, as a pipa.
I've never heard of that.
Pipa. Yeah. But yeah, Liu Qing.
So I have got an 8 on that roll.
Okay, cool. So now roll your performance for me. An 8's not bad.
It's not great, but
well.
I just want to look something up real quick. Although you might be able to tell me, attractive is a reroll similar to occupation.
That's right.
Okay, cool. That's what my memory was, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you need a reroll?
No.
Okay.
Well, 2 6s, so that's 12, 15, 17.
17. Nice. Okay. Yeah, you definitely get the horses riled up. The horses, and their whole one die of composure or will is definitely going to get all riled up.
And so basically I'm just, we're waiting for most of the camp to be asleep, dead of night. The fires, some of the fires have begun to die down and such.
Okay.
I'm assuming they're not going to be stoking the fires during the night because we're told the weather is very good right now.
Yes.
And so, where Xiaogui will have lots of darkness to work in and such like that.
Okay. And a lot of the men are sleeping outside. The women all went into the big main tent. Okay. Then let's and so then the horses break free. Your actions, guys. As men start getting up and start running after the horses.
Okay. When the ones that look like the camp, he's going to try intrusion to sneak up to the main tent from the opposite side. And try to kind of cut a slit in the tent so he can peek in and see if he can lay eyes on somebody he might think would be wily.
Okay.
Now, does the darkness give me any bonuses to the intrusion, or is it straight up 2 dice?
I'll give you a die of bonus. That's fair.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Ooh, I rolled an 18 on 3 dice.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome because, like, my 18 on the awareness a minute ago, that was the same thing. And then earlier I had 2 dice and I rolled 2 6s. And
Well,
wow.
I'm not going to be able
Should
to
be
beat
ro-
that. So you're sneaky.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, good. So, yeah.
Aid, what about you? What you doing?
I say, I'm just going to hang back in still stuff pretty much goes wrong. That's at the moment here. So when I start hearing shouts and problems, that's when I'll start running.
Okay.
And Alice, I'm basically pulling back at this point.
Okay.
Relying on my intrusion to, keep me hidden.
Okay, Aldo, you didn't get a description of the girl that you're looking for, but you know that she's young, and
didn't I see her in the?
Oh, you did, but it was, like I said, the features were very muddled. So, but yeah,
Okay.
you can certainly get an idea with that.
Right.
But the mist, covered a lot of the
Sure.
features. But you can get general build and such like that through that, by all means. So, sneaking a peek inside, it's actually not that hard to figure out because you saw every other woman roaming around camp except for one.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And she happens to also be tied up to a stick in the ground. They have a pole basically hammered into the ground towards the back of this tent, and she's got her wrist bound behind her, sitting on the floor.
And if it's towards the back of the tent, how does that put her to the?
You just cut out. Could you repeat, please?
I'm sorry. If she's towards the back of the tent, how does that put her in relation to the side of the tent that I came in at? Because I was coming not from the front flap, but I'm not sure.
You would probably be coming in from the left side because they're all heading out towards the right side of the back of the camp. So you'd be from the doorway, a 45-degree angle, and so she'd be diagonally, to your left.
Okay, and is she kind of in that direction, but kind of towards the middle, or kind of near the
near
wall?
The back, near the wall.
Okay, great. And who else is in there with her?
There are 3 men, and there are the rest of the women kind of curled up in one section.
Okay.
The women are, basically sharing one giant bed.
And what are the men doing right now?
Sleeping. Okay,
so he will try to sneak his way to her.
Okay. Why don't you roll me your intrusion?
All right, let's see what happens. Now, I assume I don't get the +1 for the darkness.
No, not in here.
Right.
They do have fire going on in here.
I figured as much.
And lanterns and lights.
Let's see what happens. Get ready, Aid.
Get ready.
I have faith in you.
Yeah.
I did roll 2 5s. I rolled a 10.
That's not bad.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to take a penalty on mine because I'm asleep. Yeah, okay. At one point, one of them turns over and kind of, you think, oh, shoot. Right. And then he goes, and goes back to sleep.
Okay. All right.
And, I'm clearly not afraid of making a fool of myself by making weird noises on GMing.
That's good.
So, you manage to sneak up to her. She is currently, asleep, basically, uncomfortably, but she clearly is worn out. And she looks dehydrated. Her lips are dry. She's got dehydration obviousness to her.
Okay. He's going to put his hand on her mouth and whisper in her ear, "Lady Huali, I'm here to rescue you."
She, she, first of all, the standard panic of somebody's hands over my mouth.
Yes,
but then she looks at you and she nods.
Okay.
And she says, "Aren't you a bit short for a stormtrooper?"
That is exactly what I was thinking.
And she fights the bonds at her wrist.
I will cut the bonds with my sword.
Okay.
And actually, and from where I am, I will try to cut the tent where I am as well,
Okay.
rather than sneak her all the way back to my other hole.
Definitely need you to make another check for slicing the tent, because that could
That
make a lot of
makes
sound.
sense. I know. I figured.
So how slow
So-
can you go?
Yeah.
You know, when you're opening the bag or when you're slicing something, you're like, I'm trying to be so quiet.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. 2 dice.
Somebody's eating chips right
I
behind
rolled a
you.
6 and a 4.
Let's
So
see
it's a
if
10.
yeah, somebody's eating
Again.
chips right behind you. Okay. I honestly got a 9. 3, 3, 3. I was giving it their normal die back on that one because, you know,
Sure.
I already made a check at an egg. But I did get below you by 1.
Alrighty.
Okay, you get her out.
Yep. Okay.
And you guys take off to rendezvous with the group.
Yep.
Okay, you do that. And group rendezvous. What is your plan now? Aid's like, I'm gonna burn the camp down!
I did consider that if it wasn't for the other women in there, but yeah, it did cross my mind.
Okay, seriously though, your plan.
He's like, he comes back almost like, you know, he's trying not to be too proud of himself, but he's kind of a little proud of himself. You know, he's like, I can't believe that worked, you know, but at least in attitude, but he's trying to be humble about it.
Okay.
What now? Is this it? Do we just return?
I think we put as much space between us and them as possible. Yeah.
All right.
So Aldo's
He
like,
nods.
okay, turns into an eagle, grabs girl, takes off.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Bye, guys. See you guys back at the roadhouse. Okay. So,
All right.
is that what you do, Aldo?
Well, shall I take her back in eagle form? I don't want to leave alone if you need me. We should move a distance away if we're going to do that, even if we're going to do so they won't see me lift into the air.
That the dice could have gone so easily against you guys, and we could have had a cool fight with
I know.
enemy martial artists. Don't worry. There's still a lot of opportunities.
So what do you say, friends?
Yeah. I think you fly back and we follow. I think that's probably your best bet.
All right. Okay.
So-
Because if they come across us, then obviously she's with us. So yeah, we
Right.
can.
Okay. So he will do that.
Okay.
Since they gave their assent, he will definitely.
Sure, you fly back. The other two, are you doing anything before you guys head back?
I think that when the camp awakes and realizes what happens, we do not want to be here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Aldo, I'm going to pull on your bleeding heart right now.
Mm-hmm.
Since you do have a flaw about being heroic. They
Yeah.
do have a bunch of women in that camp that don't want to be there, that are trapped, that
Mhm.
are basically enslaved, and leaving them there does not make you feel so good on that disadvantage. Whether you
If
want to
he-
act on
if-
it or not, I don't mind. I just want you to be aware that definitely triggers your disadvantage. You don't need to act.
Yeah. If he is as aware of that, I wasn't sure how much of that he was aware of based on was Brandon's character that really noticed that. But if he has enough awareness of that, he'll be
Brandon-
thinking of that.
Yeah,
on
Brandon
his
informed
flight
you,
back.
so.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the way he. The way. So he'll be thinking of that on the way back.
Okay.
He'll still deposit her,
No problem.
but he will return to the party, and at that point he'll bring that up because maybe we can return and deal with that situation. But at least Huali will be safe.
Okay. You deposit her, and the man is not there when you deposit her.
Okay.
Where has he gone now? That's a bit
They-
You
weird.
just can't
Yeah.
tie a good bull down.
yeah. That's odd.
We left your friend here. He's not here now.
My friend?
The big man. He'll say his. Were we given his name?
Nope.
No.
I think it was
the
Ben
big man.
Kenobi.
Ben Kenobi.
Sorry, what aid? Oh, what, Aldo?
The big man who tried to defend you when you were taken.
Oh, yeah, he travels through regularly. We were very lucky that he was here, that he was traveling and visiting the roadhouse that day. But
I see.
was he okay? Last I saw of him, he was really hurt.
He was injured, but my friend helped heal him. I feel like
she goes wide-eyed at that. You mean he's okay?
Last I saw him, he was restored.
Restored? And she's absolutely shocked by that. He's your friend. Your friend must be very powerful. Perhaps a spirit. Perhaps a demon. Your friend. You yourself clearly someone of great power to turn into a bird. She's absolutely like in shock and awe by this information.
And then he starts to think, oh, the instrument, which is really hers. But he left that here. She left that here with, that's the whole horn thing, right?
He put the horn back, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. She put the horn back, yeah. Well.
The traveler, he's always very nice. Gifts us things when he comes by. Gave me a flute because I like to play, and gifts us with tokens to help pay for the roadhouse.
My friend used that flute to help restore him.
She looks very confused at this. You want to make me an awareness check?
I rolled a 7.
You're quickly getting the impression that she has no clue he's anything more than human.
Okay. Anyway, I must return to my friends. I think there are others at that camp that we should help. But will you be all right here?
I should be. I think. Did your friend find my mother too?
I am sorry. Your mother is dead. And he'll, do whatever is culturally appropriate to show sorrow and compassion and,
She, starts to break down in shock. Her hands go to her mouth and she swallows. She clearly, is having trouble standing with that news.
He'll kind of help settle her down best he can. It saddens me greatly to have to tell you this, and now I'm not sure that I should leave you here alone. But the men who did this to her are still at that camp.
Yes, they took me. I don't know how you found me, but clearly the spirits are looking down upon me, upon us, and I am so very grateful that you saved me. There are others, though, there. The other women there, they have been there for so much longer. They were trying to break me. Said that I would give them fame and fortune. I did not understand.
Do you think that you could go to your quarters and rest and find some peace while I go help deal with those men? And then when we return, we will tidy this place up for you and do our best to restore a semblance of peace and security for you.
I will go rest. I trust in you, and you have already done more than I could have possibly imagined. As I said, I do not even know how you found me. And so clearly there's some great spirit looking upon us. Great daemon.
He'll bow to her, and when he's sure that she's going to her quarters, he doesn't want her to walk into the kitchen where her mother is dead, right? But when he's sure that she's heading in that direction, he'll then take to the skies and with great desire for justice fly back to his friends.
Before you take to the sky, as you're watching her head to the room, how much damage did you take?
None recently. I had taken damage, but that should have healed by.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Never mind. So if you don't have any visible wounds, then never mind.
He probably has slashes, but they're superficial wounds.
Okay.
Probably.
You will feel the horn basically graze up against your back. You'll feel that the horns of the bull graze up against your back and just kind of a warmth suffuse you. But I was going to give you a die back for your actions on that through him. But sounds like I don't need to. But you'll just feel that warmth. The feeling of gratitude basically from him.
Okay, great. And with that, he will bow in that direction and then take off.
Take off. Sure. Brandon, so Aid and Brandon, you guys are hoofing it back. Is there anything you guys want to be doing on your hoofing it back route?
Just get one of those horses and ride that.
Okay. Share the horse?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay.
If there's a horse that we can grab before they got it, by all means.
I would say that you could. That's fine. Grab and start riding back on the two of you. Sure. Aldo will meet up with you guys part of the distance. And I'll let you guys roleplay from there.
Yeah, so he will, land in front of them and transform back into human form. And Lady Huali is safe, my friends, but we must go back and deal with those men.
Well, I fear that those men will return to the roadhouse immediately to continue to deal with Lady Huali. Well, to deal with Huali.
So
I believe that the fight will come and find us.
Should we ambush them on the road or meet them or strike them now in their camp before they even set off? He'll look at Tujing, since he's the soldier. He's like, I trust his his sense of this.
Yeah, they have definitely got greater numbers than us, so we are a disadvantage in that respect. So, something needs to be done. We either need to rout them and send them packing, and so they cannot, or don't anticipate to return, or thin out the numbers. It's pretty much all we can do.
So they were asking Aid if you think go to them or let them come to you guys.
Or ambush on road.
Ambush on road.
I suppose if they come in small groups like we did last time, if they come in 4s or 5s, I suppose it's better to fight 4 or 5 at a time than the entire campment.
That makes sense. I can scout from the sky. If you set up a point to ambush them, I can watch from the skies and let you know well before how many are setting out.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. So with that, he'll turn into an eagle and fly high, sky, and that's what he'll do. He'll scout just to get a sense of their numbers and their movements, and then report back to these guys.
Well, this time they definitely seem to be bringing all few dozen men with them.
A few dozen.
Yes, a few dozen.
Well,
yowzers.
The entire encampment of men basically are coming. There are a bunch of the grunts that were sleeping outside, and then from the main tent there were the 3 men that dress up in laminar armor. They definitely seem to be in the nicest armor rather than the pieced together stuff that the rest of them are doing, or some of the men don't even have armor at all. the majority of men don't even have armor at all. They seem very much, just scraping by kind of encampment of people.
I know this is not a word, but I'm going to use it anywhere. How many lamellarians are?
Only 3 people are wearing. Only 2 people are wearing lamellar armor. 2 people.
I want a sci-fi race now that's the lamellarians.
I forget what word I posted up recently, but they were like, "Oh, that should be a race." I forget. Oh, nougat. Yeah, apparently Jerry Sirocco thinks that Nugatti should be a race in a sci-fi world now.
And how many unarmored men are? And would these be kind of like the guys that we already fought, basically kind of equipped like that?
Most of them are equipped. Well, so there's about 7 men that are equipped with sword and armors that you guys already dealt with. And then let me just pull up my notes here. And then, there's about 16 of them that basically have no weapons, no armor, or anything that are coming. There's 2 that have the lamellar armor that are the really nice armor. And then there's one guy that seems to be in charge.
Okay.
And the one guy that seems to be in charge, he's kind of a big pot-belly kind of guy with, kind of like a big bruiser. Yeah.
Okay. And are they just basically all together thundering down the road in one unit, like one mass?
Yes, mostly.
Okay.
They have the unarmored people in the front. The 16 unarmored in the front.
Okay. And about how long do I think it would take for them to get to the roadhouse?
Encampment at their rate, 6 hours.
6 hours. And are
no, more like 5. More like 5 hours.
Like 5 hours
at their rate, yeah.
And,
they're not going very fast because they have a large contingent of people. Like
and Aid and Brandon, did I leave you guys kind of like halfway there or closer? Or where do you guys figure or Alice for that? Where do you figure we were at the point?
About halfway, because you, based on your speed and them on a horse, I would say you met about halfway.
Okay, so they're about 2.5 hours from
you guys
where they are. Okay, all right. Well, he's gonna fly back and let them know.
Okay.
So, Aid, unless you've got a different idea, I think that we were probably still heading back. Unless we were going to be setting up on the road or something.
Yeah, because I think fighting in the open's asking for trouble. So, we might have to fight him in a defensive position rather than unless we can literally kill the main guy in one strike, and then set the other guys pack in by saying "You leaders, they go away." Yeah, I think we might be in a bit of an issue.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you guys head back, and you guys will.
I can fly you guys back if you need to. If that's helpful, I can fly everybody back.
You guys would certainly save you guys a lot of time if he does.
Yeah. We could come up with some kind of fastball special where you can drop me with spear point downwards on the guy's head, and that'll do the job. But I don't know if that.
That's called a drag and drop.
Yeah.
Drag and drop.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think we can. I think we have to retire and defend. Yeah.
Yeah. So the one problem is, as Alice said, there's no wall around where we're going, and if they're bringing everybody, we're almost going to be as in the open there as we are out here, and they can also light it on fire.
Yeah, that was the only problem I was thinking about. Worried about was the fire aspect. Yes. I mean, other than that, we start, making traps for them on the route, but
we don't have all that much time to prepare.
We've got about 5 hours, right?
No,
maybe 4 hours or 3 hours.
Well, it depends on where you guys are. If you're talking about where they are when you meet up with them, they have 2.5 hours to prep.
Right. If we're going to ambush them, yeah. Well, then, so it sounds like you're saying on the road is better. The advantage I could think of being at the house is that the bull spirit is there, and he could help in the fight. But
he was really weak.
But he was weak, and the danger that it would pose to Huali and her, I think, too great.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, weapon-wise, what did these guys have for weapons? Were they have bows, or did they all have kind of hand weapons?
So the seven of them had swords, and 16 of them, they were unarmored, just basically in plain clothes. They looked like basically the best they had were like tonfas or a tree branch. They were very much like not had anything.
Did the Lamellarians have bows?
I really heard Mandalorian for a second there.
I know. I'm thinking Mandalorian. But did the Lamellarians have bows?
The two people in Lamellarian armor, yes, they have bows.
Now I've infected your use of the word Lamellar. You just said Lamellarian armor.
Sorry, Lamellar armor.
and did the
boss?
My head. I'm sorry. Did the boss have a bow? Did the boss have a bow too?
No, the boss does not have a bow. The boss actually has a giant ringed sword.
Okay.
You were familiar with what that means, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I put one up in the chat earlier at the beginning because that's what I think Aldo's using.
Yep. It's especially useful against spears because it helps you disarm or deflect spears because you loop it into it and you deflect or pull and yank.
Very cool. I'm going to look it up now again but yes.
It's in the chat if you just scroll up.
Okay. Cool.
I also have a video from Airplane because that's how you guys were waking me up.
I actually am going to make one adjustment last minute. I'm going to say that 3 of those 7 sword mooks have swords. The other 4 are actually going to have spears because that would make more sense that they would have scavenged up some spears. So 4 of them are going to have spears.
Okay.
So
perfect.
But like I said, 16 of them, they basically look like they picked up a tree branch or a tonfa or whatever peasant weapon that they had. They were not cool enough to get geared. Maybe if they show themselves as really cool, they'll get some stuff.
This is their chance.
Everybody else dies and they get stuff. So, you're ambushing on the road, I heard? What are the plans for the road ambush? Are you doing the whole, save my caravan?
We don't have a caravan.
Save my wagon.
We don't have a wagon.
Do we still have that bag of powder or whatever that was?
Oh yeah, that might be good to stir up a bit of trouble.
Yep.
I could drop that from a great height, if you, or we can use it another way.
I think dropping it on top of them before as they kind of come over the horizon within viewing distance is something to cause them a bit of a problem. At least it'll stir them up. So,
what group do you think I should drop them on? Do you think I should drop them on their lead, their mob, their rabble?
I think drop it on the armored guys and the leader if possible, and then if they disband, maybe the other guys will as well.
Very well. That's what I will do then.
Okay.
Since our eagle has flown this way a couple times and we've walked it before, does Aid able to pick out any spots that he think would be favorable for us getting the drop on them?
Roll me a military check, Aid.
Okay. 7.
7. Since you guys have spent some time, I would say that there's some minor favorable terrain that he can find.
Okay. Can we get some, with my art craft, better temporary medium than permanent, can I make any snares?
Roll me the craft check for it. I would say that you have materials for it. Let's see how good they are.
That is an 11.
Okay. You can make, I'd say with that, 5 snares.
And, that's, my knowledge of the string instrument and such like that is, trying to make certain I've got good lines, basically, to try and give some difficulty. I don't know that we'd be able to get those onto the road, but if, we get them to come off the road after whoever attacks them, then the snare might be able to slow some of them down or disable them. And that would be something I could see my character contributing in the time that we've got.
Cool.
Okay. That works if that works for you guys. It's you guys'
Okay, so
play right now.
we have a defensible position.
Mm-hmm.
We've got snares that are placed in between that defensible position and them, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got the bombing run.
Uh-huh.
Who's going to be the bait to lead them towards the defensible position and kind of through the snare stuff?
Well, I think Aid's got a bow.
So basically, the lure will be sniping them from that spot. And then when they get closer, that's where the snares go up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, let's start with your bombing run.
Alrighty.
And don't forget to bird bomb them as you're dropping that.
No, because a bird bomb is good luck to them, remember? That's what people say.
So
I've never heard that.
Yeah, apparently if a bird poops on your shoulder, it's supposed to be good luck.
That's what they say. They do say that.
They do say that. I'm like, if a bird poops on me, that's very bad luck to me.
I must have had so much good luck when I had that peacock crap on me a few years ago. We have peacocks all over the campus where I teach, and there were a bunch of teachers like looking up at a tree, and I walked over. I'm like, "What are you guys looking at?" And then all over me.
Oh.
It was like cement.
Okay, I don't.
It was
please,
horrible.
no more.
Anyway, so I guess you can cut that out.
You need a lottery ticket. That was the day you should have bought a lottery ticket. That was the one.
Yes.
So the other day, Alice and I were in the shopping mall. No, we were at the Winco and in checkout, and we're waiting in line, and there is a Goats in Trees calendar right next to us. And I'm now picturing goats doing that to you, although.
Oh, gosh. Okay, moving on. We're going to go bomb. Notice I've turned a couple shades red from.
All right. Okay. So here he goes. I'm gonna put. I guess I'm putting all of my dice into in transformation into flight, essentially.
Okay. Sure.
But I'm using athleticism since it's a thrown thing. Usually, you use athleticism to throw things.
Yep. So who are you throwing it at in the end?
I think I am throwing it at the boss, the big boss.
Okay.
And I think I want to blow my competency.
Okay, cool.
Start strong. I hope I won't need to finish stronger, but let's see what happens. All right. Okay, it's a mediocre roll, but it's a roll. It's 18 on 5 dice.
18 on 5 dice. Okay. Well, I'm gonna start with his fortitude check. Okay. He coughs a bit, and then the people around him. Okay.
Now, Aldo, do remember you have occupation of street rat, and chucking things is stuff that street rats are good at.
Yeah.
All right.
If you want,
if you did want to reroll,
if you think that works, I wasn't thinking a street ratty thing because I guess I was an eagle. Mm-hmm. But if you guys think it's within my purview, I'm happy to reroll that. Okay, let's do that.
Street rat.
Okay, here we go. It's a monkey eagle street rat. Let's see. Okay, that's a little better. It's not tons better, but 9, 12. It's 18. It's exactly the same. I rolled just a different configuration of numbers.
There you go.
So
a more pleasing configuration of numbers.
It was, yeah, better gut reaction. Okay. It's about average, actually.
The boss coughs a bit, but he seems to get over it. The two men in Laminar armor seem to have managed to shield themselves from it, like they saw it coming, it was or something, and they pulled some cloth over their face and
Okay.
kept it from hitting them. But it's a large enough scatter that you do scatter off some mooks, some of the spearmen and some of the swordsmen. So you are now so after that there are still 2 spearmen, 1 swordsman, and 10 of the unarmored coming along with the boss and the 2
Okay.
Templars.
All right, that did something. It's 1 swordman, 2 spearmen, and 10 no weapon.
Yep.
Okay, cool. That's something.
That's numbers, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
All right. And then he will fly back towards our defense position.
Okay. I need you to also make me an awareness check.
Sure. Let's
Guys,
see.
they don't outnumber us 5-1 now.
I only rolled a 4.
You only rolled a 4? Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Alice,
Uh-huh.
one other thing I want to do, I was trying to think of how to do this. If I don't have time because I worked on snares, but basically to do up my makeup to try and seem like a scary spirit person.
Ooh. Sure. Roll me your craft check on that. I will let you do that in a...
Okay, I have 10.
10. Okay. So, what kind of scary spirit person are you trying to make your makeup look up as?
Well, something that would be to this area, possibly, just unrestful dead or something like that.
So quickly untie your hair, make it a mess, flying
white
out.
makeup,
Yep.
dark black lines
Yeah.
and such.
Hair a
like
mess.
that.
Mess up your
Yeah.
hair. Okay. Cool. Then that works. Anything else you want to be doing, Aid, while that's going on? Mr. Soldier.
So yes, I know I got shooting, but am I only got this spear? I assume the shooting's for my spear throwing rather than actually having a bow. That'd be right, or have I got a bow as well?
You can have a bow.
Okay, that's fine. So I just basically camp myself down and try and get a decent bead on the big guy, and once stuff starts going off, I will start shooting arrows.
Okay.
Hopefully from concealment.
Aldo, is there an aim action that you can do? I know there's full attack, but because he's taking time.
Yeah, I don't think we have one in here, if I remember correctly. But yeah, if I think if he's gonna take a round, it's up to Alice to decide whether or not she wants to give the benefit 1D benefit. I mean, I could see if you take 1 round, you get 1D benefit. If you take 2 rounds, you get 2D benefit. But that
can be pretty overpowered pretty quick though. If you do more than 1 die, I would give the 1 die for sure. I would question if I start letting that escalate.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like I said, it's your call of what should happen at all.
Cool. Why don't you guys roll me some inits as they start approaching after a while?
Okay.
I hope you guys are having fun.
Yeah, it's great.
That's reaction, isn't it? Yeah?
Yes, reaction.
Okay, cool. I got 11 then.
8 has an 11. Okay.
9.
14.
Brandon.
Same as you had last time.
Mm-hmm.
And 14. Okay, what is your reaction skill, Aldo?
It's 3D.
Okay, you and I roll off.
All right, D6. I rolled a 4.
You win.
Okay, so I'm actually going to give. I know Aid is taking aim, or he's using his bow. So I'm going to try to assist him by kind of like dive bombing the folks and just kind of like scaring them, right, to make them kind of take notice of him and kind of get distracted so they can't focus so much on evading arrows and stuff like that.
Sure. So go ahead and give Aid your aid.
All right, I'm gonna roll my 4 dice in transformation for that, and I rolled. It is a 13 total.
So you get 2 dice on top of your shot, Aid.
Okay.
So then I get to that one. So Aldo.
Yes.
why don't you make me an awareness check real quick?
Okay. My awareness is 7.
Your awareness is 7. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The one of the people wearing the lamellar armor, you notice that that person's armor isn't actually fastened. And at this point, this person grabs out a parchment from his pouch, and he puts it up in the air, and he makes several gestures, and then he kind of like it's like someone doing doing a basketball where you've got one in one hand, but he uses the other hand to launch it into the air, and then he follows it up with a handful of something out of a pouch in his belt. He throws it up into it. The piece of parchment lights on fire, and there is a flare that goes across your eyes, and you suddenly cannot see, or possibly cannot see. Let's see if you can see or not. So,
all right, I'm gonna try. I guess a reaction save.
Sure.
To veer away from the flash and the effect. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't roll so well. It's 9 total.
You take 2. Oh wait, 9 is what you got.
Yeah.
That's 11. That's 16. So yeah, I got 16. So versus 9, that is 2 dice.
2 dice, and I can take them from what?
You can take them from fortitude, reaction. I think you can take them from all of them based on it being a flash, right?
Okay, well it depends. If you bought it as a as like one of the paralysis ones, it would be like either reaction and composure, or
yeah,
it would
wizardry.
be. Okay, so I'll take 1 from reaction and 1 from composure.
Okay, but yeah, it's a wizardry.
Okay, yeah, right. But which power did you mimic?
That's true.
Right, but yeah, usually for flash attacks, it would, reaction and composure are the defaults.
Cool. So that guy is done. Then I have my other guy who, he's going to, the other person in the lamellar armor is going to take aim with the bow that he has, and he's going to try and shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're blind, hopefully it's better. Nope, probably not. I got a 7.
A 7. Okay,
Yep.
He's trying athleticism to get out of the way of that, and I rolled very well.
Okay.
So, okay.
Okay, and then it's that guy who has no action right now. So then Aid, your action. Everyone's moving forward, basically. The 2 people that took actions against Aldo did fall back a bit from the crowd.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so I am going to aim at the big guy and try and shoot him with a bow.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 2 dice for shooting, plus 1 for the aim, and then 2 dice additional for Aldo's assist, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's what I thought. Then I got a 20.
Nice.
I like that.
Ooh, okay. What kind of range bonuses am I getting here on that? Well, I guess he would use that. And he would use that. Okay. Nowhere near a 20. Not surprised. I actually rolled really bad. So I am going to use that, and I'm going to take that 1 reroll that he has. Come on, it's a boss. Oops. Oh, there we go. That's 3 6s right there. I got 3 6s. And yep, I actually succeed that time. I take 1 damage. So that's fine. I can take 1 damage. And you get an arrow right into between the plates of the lamellar, right in the shoulder.
Okay.
Actually, no. I'm going to say you get it right, because he needs his shoulder. You get him in the thigh. It lands in the thigh.
Okay.
Great. Aid, you just took a chunk out of him. Let's see. Brandon, your action.
So what is the current scene here?
Current scene is, let me just find all the dice that flew. Give me 1 sec. The current scene is that one of the Lamlar armor people suddenly looks like they're a lot more mobile and flexible than they should be in such armor, and they took aim up at Aldo and started casting. It's you've heard of it, you've read it academically, you have some understanding of it. You've never actually seen a sorcerer of any sort.
Have I seen a white snake?
No.
I haven't seen a sorcerer or the white snake. Okay.
Mhm.
You see the other Lamlar armor guy shoot up with a bow. The two of them having fallen back from the rest of the crowd. The majority of everyone else is basically continuing to move forward. The boss took one in the thigh, and he just kind of breaks it off his leg and throws the arrow aside and just keeps marching forward. And he seems to basically be bolstering himself for this, with angry and such.
All right. How long until they get to us? What is their distance?
I would say that they would get to you guys next round.
And does that mean they're at the trees next round, or that they're at Aid and I?
They're at the snares next round.
They're at the snares next round. Okay.
Well,
Then
the bottom mooks on the bottom of the next pack that's going actually will hit. Oh shoot, I mixed up. I'm sorry. I apologize. I read my initiatives wrong. The 10 mooks with no gear already hit your snares. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
I've read my initiative order slightly wrong. But yeah,
So
they just hit your snares.
we weren't starting at a very good range at all.
I'll give that.
You just were asking at what range modifiers or something am I going to give aid? So all of a sudden I was like, oh, are we distant?
Yeah, I was
Is
realizing
he
that you're
shooting?
Well, because of the terrain, I realized that wasn't going to do anything, so I didn't give him any bonuses on that. So because you guys we've covered that there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of fields, there's a lot of stuff. So I'm figuring you guys aren't going to be able to shoot super far.
Okay. Then they've already begun to hit the snares, you're saying?
They're going to be hit. Yeah, they're a couple of guys have hit the snares. Yes.
Okay, so they have hit the snares.
Yes.
Okay. Because I heard at one point that they were going to, and then
no,
they
it's
hit,
because
so.
I swapped in nits on who went first. But yes, the mooks in the front have hit snares.
Okay. I am going to then start playing Discordant Harmony to basically fill a sense of unease in those that are coming.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your performance.
And that is pretty bad, so I'm going to take that Courtesan reroll. Because I don't know how often I'll get to use that. All dice in the tower, please. Alright, that did better. That's 15.
15, okay. Aid, you definitely feel a change in the air as well as she starts to play. It suddenly feels eerie and such, but you actually know what it's coming from and what's going on. You're a little more okay. You're pretty much okay, while they are not so okay. Let's see, 15 is what you got, Brandon?
15 is indeed what I have.
Okay. And how did your snares work, by the way?
Pull people up and such.
Okay, cool. So
yeah.
You've got, weight, and then they step on the snare, they break. What?
Cool. So I've got 4 of those and Nick on those. Okay. You've got 5 of the 5 of the unarmored mooks left, or sorry, 6 of those left. One of your snares hasn't been tripped yet, and then some of them take a little damage here and there. Cool. They take some in composure and will. Awesome. I've got them marked. They definitely do seem to be affected by what they're hearing. So after that, I've got 1 swordsman, and at this point I'm going to roll against your snare, which I wrote down is and he also escaped your snare, but the other one didn't. So one of the spearmen that was remaining got snared. And Aldo, it's the top of the init at this point. It's your turn. The place is thinned out a bit because 4 of the mooks got yanked up into the air with, unarmored, the super mooks, and then 1 of the spearmen got yanked up into the air by the snare.
Yeah. Okay.
And you've got, eagle perception right now. You can see that some of them are a little jumpy because, and you can hear the little bit of music that's coming. And it is definitely an eerie, you feel, eerie and uneasy up here all of a sudden.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking that I'm kind of isolated from my friends right now because those 2 that attacked me are a little bit behind those who advanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel I'm a little bit overpowered. Discretion's a better part of valor. I think if I'm going to fight, I want to fight closer to my companions.
Right. Okay.
So he's going to eagle form, fly back towards my companions, and land in the midst of those no weapon mooks, and transform into human form, and go monkey style on them. Now, I don't know if they are a group of mooks or if they're individuals, but I'm just going to cut loose on as many as I can.
Go ahead and
with
cut
monkey
loose.
style. All right.
You gotta be claw loose. Cut loose.
Claw loose. Yeah. All right, let's see. 13. Did I count that right?
13.
Yeah, 13.
Okay. Your friends and the enemies all see you just kind of, start dodging in and out, punching, yanking, and, letting them hit each other, and all 6 are removed from combat at this point.
Awesome. Perfect.
On a 13.
Perfect. And he was using the sword with that. But yes, letting them punch each other and stuff, moving out. But he's wielding his sword as he's doing all that.
Okay.
Cool.
So, then I've got that guy. The guy that was casting at you falls back behind a tree, over to a tree, and 2 black apparitions, like these dark, ghostly apparitions that are just made of full shadow, start fly out from either side of the tree and scream a banshee's wail at you guys. And this one is an AoE. That is a 13 on you guys.
13 is a banshee wails?
Yeah. 2 of them. Brandon, actually all 3 of you can make me perception checks, but Brandon, yours is going to be easier than the others. You've actually got the knowledge.
I got a 5.
Okay.
Well,
hey,
I think I've got
4.
I think that I'm going to be at a 3.
Okay.
Yay.
I'm assuming
got
this
a
isn't
10.
socially based.
Okay.
And I rolled a 10.
And you got a 10. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's neither ambush or social, Brandon, on this one.
Yeah.
On a 10? Okay. You don't have the knowledge for this. Let me check if...
That's fine.
Okay. Actually, you feel like when you're around other spirits and animal spirit presences, like we've established, you are able to kind of sense and feel stuff. You feel nothing from the 2 apparitions.
Okay. Okay.
That I will
Is
tell you.
is defense is an acrobatic dodge up into the trees an acceptable defense for these banshee whales?
Not for this one. No, it's gonna be a non-physical.
Huh?
It's gonna be non-physical.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Is awareness an acceptable?
Sure.
You know, trying to maintain kind of like cognizance of my surroundings and stuff as it's attacking. Okay. Well, that gives me a 7, so I'm still gonna take. I guess it's 1.
So 2.
Yeah. So 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm out. I think it's gonna. It has to be applied to what?
It has to be applied to will or composure on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be at 0 for both, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you want to spend a competency die or anything?
I don't have a competency.
Okay. Ooh. Well, let's see if one of your party members brings you up soon.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's that guy. Okay, so then that guy, the boss gets it. The boss is further back. He's been protected. So next round, he's going to be in charge range of you guys, Aid and Brandon. So Aid's action, unless you want to get in there and make it a counter charge right now and get him.
I'm actually going to shoot an arrow at the conjurer chap.
Okay, at the conjurer chap. Cool.
Yeah.
As I said, he ducked behind a tree though.
Yeah, so I've just got standard 2D this time because I've got no aim, obviously. So
okay, I will give him a die for cover because he is literally hiding behind a tree.
That's cool.
Also,
10.
do remember if you're interested in it, full attacks.
Full attacks are helpful.
What's that do? I forgot.
It gives you an extra die, but you can only use your resistances to defend yourself. So if you think they're going to get to you, that they're going to find you in here.
Yeah, that's cool. I will do that then. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's another 3 points, so 13.
13. Okay, and he takes 13 versus my 9, 12, 15. I got 15.
Okay.
So and it's only because of the cover that I made it.
Okay.
Right. I put what I've worked on so far for your Claw Loose song up.
Oh dear. I can't see it. Right? I'll have to go look at it. So Brandon, your action.
Alright, so where are these guys that hit they hit the trees before us, and I'm told that the next time somebody goes that they're going to be able to charge us, but so far I don't see anybody.
The two guys that are charging you this round are going after you. The boss gets to charge you next round.
Okay. I'm confused based on these.
I apologize. Well, the boss is higher than it, but is further back, so he gets to charge you.
Well, no, but I was told before my action last round that people had already hit the snares.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So, I'm very confused because they sound like they're in the exact same position.
Nope, because that group that could charge you got taken out by Aldo while you were AFK. Aldo took them out.
So, are there people that are seeing us at this point? Or?
Yes, you've got two men, one with a sword, one with a spear, that will be in melee range with you on their initiative this round.
So, looking at the one with the sword, in my makeup and such, actually wearing at this point my courtesan clothes, so a very nice chrysanthemum robe and such, but with this dreadful face, hair undone. I look at them and I go, I am the spirit of the unrestful dead that you have slaughtered. And 16 on presence.
On the spear?
On the sword.
On the sword, okay. 16 you said?
Yep.
He soils his pants, and he basically falls into a ball of cowardice and scared and starts to run away.
Okay.
He already took some will damage already, so he
That
didn't have
was-
enough anymore.
That was the spear guy or the sword guy?
Sword guy. Sword guy's gone.
Sword guy. Okay.
Sword guy turns around and starts running. Screw this, I'm gone. Okay. Then I've got the spear guy. Spear guy is going to attack. Which of the two of you would be more forward, Aid or Brandon?
I am standing in front of Aid. I want to be the first thing that they're seeing.
Okay, so then...
Aid is shooting, so I want to be covering for him.
Great. So the spear guy is going to attack you, Brandon. He is just going to do a boring old thrust attack with it.
Okay.
So that is 14. I rolled really well. On almost.
Oh yes, 17.
Nice. He thrusts at you.
I take the war fan and just bap it out of the way, and all.
Awesome. Like an apparition, he could not make contact. Aldo, you are unconscious at the moment, but you did take out a large percentage of them.
I'm not complaining.
As he's doing that, Alice, I do want to say, who are you to strike at the spirit?
Okay. Then we have the caster. He has that. Okay. And he fails. Nothing comes out from behind the tree this round. And then the other guy is going to notch an arrow and shoot at the spirit on a 10, Brandon, shooting at you.
Okay. On a 10, I'm at 11 with composure as I just level a steely gaze down at him.
And it just shoots right through some cloth, making it look even more like you're an apparition. Okay, this round, boss charges. So the boss is charging you because he sees you and not Aid. So,
there's two guys, well, there's one guy, I guess, that's engaged with me, and the other shot at me.
Okay. The boss fights like a big brute, and he is going to, hold on one sec, I need to look something up really quick. I don't remember what it's, oh well. Okay, so he is going to come at you, and he is going to, yeah, he's just going to melee you. And he fights big and slow. And he rolls into his shoulder, and he basically tries to connect with you with his shoulder on a 12, Brandon.
Okay.
He uses his shoulder and his elbow to connect and try and basically hit you in the solar plexus. And,
alright, go ahead.
And you notice basically he seems to basically be taking into a defensive role as he does so, making himself small, almost like shrinking himself into some sort of turtle shell.
Turtle. Alright, I'm gonna go rely on my athletics, more acrobatic than strong.
Okay.
So, try and dodge out of the way. That is 12.
12. What did I say I rolled? I just moved my dice. I think you beat me. Yeah, you beat me. I think I got a 10. Okay. So you acrobatics way out of the way, and since he's a big, slow brute, you just dodge right out. And then it is that guy. Aid, your action.
Aid has left the building.
Oh, sorry.
No
Got
problem.
my bow and leaping with my spear against the one that's nearest to Brandon.
You've got two that are near Brandon. One is a spear guy, and one is the boss.
I will take the boss then first of all.
Okay.
So, okay, speary death thing is 4 dice. Okay, not terrible. 6, 10, 14.
14. Okay. He seems to take on So he seems to basically start to try and shove his backside. What weapon are you using?
Spear.
Long spear, yeah.
That's what I thought. So he shoves his backside into tries to basically shove it back against you, and then he wraps his arm around the spear and tries to yank it aside to try and flip your location.
Okay.
And yeah, that is a 23. That was a lot of 5s and 6s. So he shoves the spear out of the way, shoves your body, wraps his arm around it, and just does that.
Okay.
Okay. Brandon, your action.
Alright, looking at the guy that, I guess with the spear that had engaged me, I continue with my speech. I call the skies to rain down destruction upon you, the plants to tear you from your steeds, and the animals to strike at you. And I will continue my presence assault.
Okay. He's already taken.
And my dice aren't doing bad, so that is 9, so that is 15.
15 beats my 7 by way more enough classes. Spear Monk is going to start trying to run. Are you guys going to spend comp dice to try and knock him down, kill him, etc.?
What?
The guy is trying to flee. He is now, that the fleeing basically is my way of saying he's out of combat. He took enough damage to 0-0.
I don't have competency dice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm out as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool. He's gonna, basically rout. That's his way of being defeated in this one. Aldo's out. The laminar armor. Okay. His parlor tricks are gone, so he's leaving. You guys see one of the laminar armor guys turn around and run off. The other one is going to pull a spear and close in. He doesn't make it this round, obviously, with where he was. Boss is going to attack you, Aid.
Okay.
He already used that, so he can't. 13, as he basically, with the arm still around your spear, basically tries to use that momentum to clock you in, in like your neck, basically, as he spins it around.
Okay, so best thing I'm going to do is use my armor 4D.
Okay.
So I shall basically just shift my weight slightly and use that.
Cool.
Okay, so that is 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. No, 15, yeah, 14.
14.
14.
You made it. You don't take any damage from him.
Okay. Good.
Aid, your action.
Okay, so has he actually effectively disarmed me, or can I still spear him?
He hasn't fully disarmed you. You can still try and spear him. You just have to reorient it because he hasn't actually yanked it out from you. He's just been using it as leverage.
Okay, so what I'll do then, I'll kind of dash past him so that it goes. So I'm now like facing him, and then try and pull the spear back, and then kind of just thrust it back towards him again.
Okay, sure.
So that is a 15. That's better on 4 dice.
So 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. His 4 dice beat you by 1 this time.
Dear gods.
I'm
Aid,
sorry,
remember
Aid. I guess it just wants to be an epic battle with you. Brandon, your action. Oh, sorry, Aldo, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to remind you that all-out attack is always available to you, with the caveat that you can only defend with your.
Yeah, you could have all out attacked.
Okay, next time.
Next time.
Yeah.
Brandon, your action.
So the guy that shot at me, he left?
The caster
The
left.
conjurer, the caster.
Conjurer left.
No, I'm asking about the archer. There was somebody who shot at me.
The archer is coming towards you guys with a spear in hand now.
Okay. Well, I am going to go ahead and turn to the boss for my.
Yeah, no, never mind. I see what you're saying. Never mind. Yeah, you're right. Boss? Okay.
Yeah. And I am going to proclaim, you have angered the spirits due to your evil ways. Now flee this place and repent. So it's all one long speech
Uh-huh.
from me. I am going to go ahead and give an all-out attack on this one.
Okay. Sounding like a banshee.
Well, apparently they've got banshee screams on their side, so my thought to be the dead is nowhere near as cool as it once was. So I'm at 16 on presence.
16 on presence. Oh boy. So he's gonna use that. Okay. I take 1 die. That could have been worse. Okay, he's gonna take 1 out of will. And yeah, the caster, the conjurer, once the banshees wailed that 1 time, the 2 dark shadows disappeared, and in the most recent action that conjurer took, he bolted the opposite way from you guys. So that's back to that guy. The guy that was with the bow, he had changed the spear. He now closes in. He sees that his boss is engaged with Aid. He's going to attack Aid. On an 8, Aid with a spear being shoved at you, trying to basically wrangle you towards his boss, sorta. Maybe he will start using Aid next time.
I will use a fortitude for that one, because that's only 3 dice, and that leaves my armor for the other one. So fortitude is 11.
11.
So that's okay.
You are fine.
Yeah.
And Aid, 2 things about your armor. One thing, armor you can keep reusing, but it goes down by 1 each time that you do it during a round.
Okay, cool.
And then the other thing is, since it's got that soak value, basically you can, instead of taking actual damage, you can get your armor beaten up, but that will reduce it. So if you take a die to your armor, it'll only be a 3-die armor at that point.
Okay, cool.
Okay. The boss at that point reinforces his arm and creates basically reinforces his arm with his other one. He spins around on his other foot, and he basically tries to do a downward elbow strike down on you. Aid, he is going to go at a 17 on you.
Okay, then that's
trying to throw his entire body weight, and this guy is pretty pretty big
no
and
good.
chubby.
Terrible. got a 9 and 4 dice.
9 on 4 dice, and I got a 17, so that's 2 dice of damage that he just did to you.
Okay. I will take that off of my fortitude as the highest.
And the way that he's fighting, he kind of looks a bit like a turtle using his fins, his fins to bat around on you.
Okay. So 1d left on fortitude.
Okay. But he's very, very close range.
Okay.
Okay, and that's your turn, Aid.
Okay, so this time I will all-out attack with the spear. So that's 4 dice normally, plus the all-out attack for 5 dice.
Okay.
Now, Aid, remember, if you all-out attack, no armors.
Yeah.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, but he wants to take this boss
I've got to
down.
hit this guy at some point. Getting crazy. 9, 10, 11, 15, 19.
19. Well,
19. Come on, that's pretty good.
That is. I got a 15.
Ah, good.
So I took another one. Okay, Brandon, your action.
How is this guy looking that Aid's on?
He looks a little bit dinged up, but still actually pretty good. You've still got the full spearman and the lamellar armor.
Right. I will at that point come striding forward purposefully, and the spirit coming down, and I am going to go ahead and use my sleight of hand as I continue my condemnation and just look generally scary as I come forward to him to try and lap him around with my war fan.
Okay.
And I'm going to all-out attack on that. All dice in the tower, please. Okay, so that is 14, so 18.
18. Ooh. And I took another die. Okay. He seems to be he went a little white at you hitting him. You know, a little scared. And he's
Okay.
taking your little Nina slaps with the war fan. We're going to skip the other word. And back to that guy. The spear guy is going to turn around and, scared of the ghost, the undead, he's going to try and spear you from behind. Brandon? I got a 11 with a spear from behind on you.
Okay.
At this point, you're a bit flanked.
Okay. I roll a 11 as well on composure.
Okay.
I turn, and give him a steely glare to try and unnerve him as he swings around on me.
Which apparently you succeed at that point. And now it's the boss. Boss is now going to... Yeah, he's going to whack at you again this time. He is going to turn his shoulders down, and I'm not going to give myself an asthma attack doing this, but he is now going to set himself up for a headbutt on you, Aid.
Okay.
And when he does so, he basically is lifting his back side up, so he's basically doing a lunge headbutt, sort of. It's hard to explain that one, but that is 17 on you.
Okay, right. Well, best I can do is 2 dice, and the best I got was 12, which is actually what I got. So, so that's one more dice off.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's better than nothing.
Better than nothing.
So,
hey, it's an epic fight. You guys are fighting.
Yeah.
You guys took on a mini army. You guys have whittled down.
I need to take off my reaction because I have 1 dice left in stamina, so that's
Okay.
1 dice in reaction now.
Brandon, your action.
Aid has not attacked
Aid,
since
your
I
action.
attacked.
I apologize. Aid, it's your action. I apologize.
Okay, cool. Right, so I am. I do a standard attack, which is 4 dice for the spear. So I will return with that again. I still don't think I'm doing anything. 8, 9, 10, 11, 15.
15. Okay.
And that means I can use my armor this round. So.
Oh boy. I take 2 dice. He looks bad now. He is looking bad now. Between everything that Aldo did to him before the fight, Aid and you are ganging up on him, he's looking bad now. Brandon, your action.
I don't have a whole lot of awesomeness, but I don't want this guy to attack Aid again. I will continue on the full attack. I will try and use basically athleticism, more acrobatic than strong, to swing him into a compromising position where he is out of position basically and will get whacked at. If he's trying to turtle shell on his back, I want to swing his front round to Aid.
Okay.
So, that is not so great. Let's see. That's 8. That's 12. So, yeah.
Okay. 12 against my 3 dice. Oh! 1, 2, 1. I think he's gone now. Yeah, you knock him out.
Well, Aid knocks him out.
Yeah,
I swung
you knock
him around.
into Aid. Aid knocks him out. Yep, it's true. So the cinematics of this is he knocks the guy right into your spearhead, Aid, and you just up you go, and he's out. At that point, I'm going to wrap up this fight. So yeah, you guys just took out a little mini army. The 3 of you versus 3 dozen men. That is quite an epic ballad to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what is your plan now after taking down 3 dozen men?
I never
Well,
heard the 3 dozen. I heard a couple dozen mentioned at one point, but when we
Few
got
dozen.
actual numbers, it didn't
Yeah.
sound like that.
It was almost 3 dozen. It was just short of 3 dozen.
it was the force of 3 dozen men.
There you go.
It was just short of 3
Compacted
dozen men.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I guess once I wake up, he's going to suggest, he's ecstatic that we won the fight, and then it's what we have to head back to the camp and offer any women who want to.
Yeah, of course.
That life, right?
Yes, I forgot about that part. Yeah.
I apologize. Yeah, that was 2 dozen men. Just under 2 dozen men. Not 3
Yeah.
dozen. Just under 2 dozen men.
Okay. That number's I heard.
Yeah, just under 2 dozen men. I apologize. Cool.
Yeah, by all means, but what about the individuals that are in our presence at the moment?
Yep. Good question.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. He's not into executing people. He's cool with like stripping them of everything and and
until we can
put them on top of trees or.
So the boss guy is definitely this warlord's subordinate at some point, correct?
Yes, he used to work for
So there is a possibility that he may be actually wanted for war crimes or some such in some kind of land.
Yes.
So then I think we take him to face proper judicial services, yeah,
okay.
and let them deal with it. Yeah, I think that's probably the best bet.
Sure.
Yeah, that works.
You can do that. I'm gonna, fast forward that and not make that a big deal. That's easy.
Local magistrate, I guess it would be something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys want to go and offer sanctuary. So what is the plan on sanctuary for these half a dozen women and their children?
Well,
I think at least the shrine. I mean, there's 9 rooms there. That's great. That's at least a start, isn't it? So
your roadhouse is now a village.
Yes.
Is that your plan? Is to take them to the roadhouse and get them work there and stuff?
For now, temporarily until they find something else.
Sure. Okay. Anything else you guys want to cover before we close up?
I think that's good. I think
that's good.
Okay.